Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naomi Finn, Steve Wildman Munrotis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of DAX Machina. Joining me tonight is my usual Wednesday night partner in crime, Naomi Finn. Naomi, glad to have you here tonight. And tonight also in the house is my son Noah, which is over here at Twitch TV/Jorgamunder. He's a Twitch streamer, and my good buddy Carrie Pocket Doc Davis. Carrie, Bubba, thank you for joining us. How y'all doing tonight?
Vibing.
If I was any better, I'd be twins.
I've heard that one a few times.
If I was any better, I'd be twins. Huh?
Then we'd really be in trouble.
If I was any bigger, I'd be twins.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting that big yet. Keep eating pizza like I am. I probably will be.
I'm so fine, I can't hardly stand myself. You know what the answer to? You know what the answer to that is? We can't hardly stand you either.
I like that cup, Naomi.
Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oops, wrong way.
I can't see.
Neoma.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Neoma. And on the other side it says, Bigfoot saw me and no one believes him. So how are you this evening, DA Mr. Roberts?
I'm doing okay. Still hanging in there, you know, kicking rocks and breathing air, I suppose. Beyond that, I can't swear to a whole lot.
As long as you ain't breathing water, we're good.
Or dirt.
Yeah, he's got gills. Dirt. Can confirm he does have gills.
Okay, well.
Is that because I drink like a fish? I'm kidding. I don't drink that much.
I fish like a drink. Anyway, so gentlemen,
getting a lot of traffic from people saying howdy.
Hey Sal, how's it going? Hey Marshall, how are you this evening? Good evening, Rosa. Oh, that was to you, DA. My apologies.
Oh, no problem. Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We are going to jump in to talk about UFOs. I'm usually not. I'm more into cryptids than I am UFOs, but there's just been so much popping up in the news lately, you just really can't ignore it anymore. The U.S. Navy is declassifying a lot of files from pilot interactions with unidentified flying objects. And there's been quite a bit in the news in the last decade that just can't be explained. For example, the Phoenix lights. We'll go into that in greater detail here very shortly, but there's so many things that's happening. So many sightings, and they're not just being seen by one or two people. In the case of the Phoenix lights, it was seen by thousands of people over 3 states and one Mexican province. So it was the Phoenix lights were seen by thousands and thousands of people. Were filmed from numerous news stations and amateur videographers. The Phoenix lights was a big deal, and the U.S. Air Force, which did have a base nearby, confirmed it was not them.
The U.S. Air Force is like, what the hell is that?
We don't know.
We don't have anything here.
And you know how they confirm that? They sent out their flyers to check.
I mean, it wasn't us. We checked.
Yeah, it wasn't us, but we're going to check just to make sure. No,
Meanwhile,
yeah,
some
they're out there
60,
now.
70 years before that, freaking Roswell happened, and the U.S. government was like, no, that was a weather balloon. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
That Jesse guy, he was just drunk.
Your eyes deceive you. Believe us. Trust us. The government. It's a weather balloon.
It's a weather balloon. We're from the government. We're here to help.
Yeah, we're here
But
to
you
help.
always get these comments from someone named William Skeeter Johnson. That's the problem. It's they interview people with less teeth than a pocket full of Skittles.
They interviewed some guy who's lived in like the backwoods his whole life. He's like, yeah, I definitely saw a UFO, or maybe it was a firefly. I don't know.
How do you spell that?
It's always that one guy. There I was sitting on my trailer park, and I looked up, and there it was.
There I was, butt naked in the bed of my truck, tripping high off of meth. Looked up in the air, there was aliens. It's like, oh yeah. Was the boogeyman there too? Huh?
Carrie, I don't think you've actually met. This is my youngest son, Noah.
Nice to meet you, Carrie.
Carrie's the owner of Dark Angel Medical, Noah.
Gotcha. Okay. Heard a lot about you then. Oh man.
Carrie, we can't hear you, man. You went silent. You went dark on us.
You went dark, Carrie. You went dark. Carrie.
Oh man. we're just gonna be like, hey, we're gonna ASMR him until he comes back.
Carrie.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's funny.
That's one thing that's always like I don't know why, but like ASMR's always just made me like wildly uncomfortable. I have no idea why.
ASMR sounds like a drug.
It's like audio. Some I don't know. I like I said, it makes me uncomfortable. So.
Uh-oh, he's serious. He busted out the glasses.
Whoa. All right.
Still can't hear you, brother.
Can't hear you.
Did you accidentally press M on your keyboard and mute yourself? Oh.
How about now?
There
you are.
There we go.
All right. I just pulled it out and plugged it back in. The reboot.
Simplest solution.
There you go.
Best thing a man could do.
In my experience working IT, it's always just been, did you try unplugging it and plugging it back in?
Yes.
That worked? Okay, well, your problem solved. That'll be $60.
Alt Control Delete, buddy. Alt Control Delete. Okay, so now we're back on track.
Somewhat. At least
I
we're
don't know
off
if we're
track
ever going to
early.
be on track.
At least we're off track early. We can always go up from here.
The idea is to get ourselves back on track.
And sometimes
we're never
it even
going
works.
to be. Sometimes
the show just stays continually derailed.
That's very true.
Sometimes we hop a boat and just skip the train altogether.
Well, I don't know if anybody out there that's listening tonight has heard of the Phoenix Lights, but I've got a couple of pictures I'm going to put up that will kind of give you an idea. These images were taken over the city of Phoenix by literally seen by thousands of people. And it's just astounding that they were in huge formation and they would change position. And this was back before you really even knew what drones were. This happened, I think, in '97. And they were filmed and pictures were taken by thousands of people across Arizona, Utah, part of California, part of New Mexico, and then one of the northern provinces of Mexico. People saw those for hundreds of miles. And there's
here.
If you go to YouTube and look up Phoenix UFO lights,
I thought it was
dozens of videos up there.
It was March 13th, 1997, which proves that aliens are not into physics, or they'd have waited a day.
That's right.
I knew it was around 1997 somewhere. I wasn't sure the exact date.
I thought it was 07. So when you said 97, I was like, but you were right.
Yeah. And Sal said that Air Force said they were flares, which is funny. I would like to see the reaction of the folks at NORAD, or was there one? Because NORAD's right down the road from my house, and my ex used to work there, and she said, she didn't go into great detail because of NDAs and stuff, but she said they track literally everything. So what does that say about stealth technology, things like that? Because I guarantee you NORAD would have been going absolutely bonkers, and they had to scramble some jets from Davis Monthan or Luke. Right there. They got F-16s right there in Luke. So
I guarantee you they scrambled something out of Luke.
Yeah.
When the reports of those lights started coming in, they would have scrambled to like, what the hell is over a major city?
Yeah, and also I'd like to see flares hold that formation.
Yeah.
And change position.
Yeah. I'd like to see flares do that because no.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
The most controlled flares in the history of man.
Yeah, 1997 we had drone flares.
We had smart flares.
Remote
Smart
control.
Flares.
Smart flares. Well, hey, Colonel Jennings, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, Colonel. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your service.
Well, Franklin, I'm that old that I remember.
Good to have you.
I just find it really interesting that these lights are being seen all over the world. Clusters of lights were seen over Mexico City. I think the ones in Mexico City were right about the same time. I think they were around 94. I'd have to look it up to be certain, but they've been seen over Seoul, South Korea, over Tokyo. I believe Moscow reported seeing lights over the city. A lot of major cities all over the world have reported seeing similar clusters of lights, and
City was 1991.
They've been witnessed by people. These aren't events where like one guy from the trailer park, leaning back in a lawn chair is like, "Yep, there was a series of lights above the house, and then my coon dog got probed." It's not like that. It's like thousands of witnesses and lots of video were taken over all of these events.
They abducted my cow.
There's too much evidence out there right now that is absolutely it's irrefutable. And number one, military is actually acknowledging, like the Navy acknowledging those tapes from the fighter jets. I believe they're F-18s, and also when they scramble them, they're like, "Yep, that's not us," And what would NORAD's reaction be to that? I mean, there would be something you would think, unless you're just like trying to keep it really quiet. I don't know.
Rosa says she flies the F-22 Raptor. That is freaking awesome.
Dude, the Raptor's insane.
That's a sweet airframe.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely awesome, ma'am. Thank you for your service, and I'm jealous. I would love to be able to go up in one of those aircraft.
I mean, I'm not too fast for anyone to be moving.
Lanita says there was a write-up about a UFO over Fort McClellan, and if you look it up, it says files deleted. Well, that doesn't really shock me. Supposedly during the Clinton administration, then as now, Vladimir Putin told Clinton, "If you don't go public, I will." About UFOs.
So Clinton went public with the redacted files.
Exactly. He released a lot of heavily redacted stuff. But now the U.S. Navy is coming forward and declassifying stuff with footage like this. This was taken from a cockpit of an American fighter jet. Yep. And apparently this thing was doing things that physics says aren't possible. This thing was making turns at multiple times the speed of light, like hairpin turns, not just like a wide banking turn like a fighter jet. This was making hairpin turns at high speed, and when it took off at speeds our jets couldn't match.
Yeah, and the G-forces would have ripped a normal human being in half.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you went from
my immediate thought was Spaceballs when they went to ludicrous speed.
They've gone flat.
And then they stopped.
How about this?
And all you see is the black bullet fly across.
Raspberry. Only one man would dare give me the raspberry. Lone Star.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Oh Lord.
Like my thing with the footage of these crafts that have been released, and it's like showing them making these like hairpin turns, is absolutely the G-force exerted would kill a normal person.
Absolutely.
Because you're looking at a craft that is either going from like velocity in a certain direction to an immediate bank into another direction, which means it has to kill its initial velocity going one way and then start its velocity going the other way. Like that. So in order to do that, like that's way above anything that we currently have. So doing that with our current technology, the G forces exerted on a person would be more than likely enough to snap their spine.
Yeah, and they
Clearly
they turn at a right angle. Like DA
Yeah.
was saying, they turn it at a right angle and they accelerate so quickly. So, not only that, but what kind of propulsion system are they using? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
To me, that would say
it's
something
insane.
beyond our technology that we could even grasp, like something
Absolutely.
like an advanced gravitics drive or something like that.
Yeah.
But then
It's
again,
like that
I'm no
moment-
physicist. I'm just spitballing what I've read in sci-fi.
Right, yeah.
I'm
It's
just a
like
man
that
nurse.
It's like that moment
Just
when
a man nurse. I'm just a Twitch streamer, bro. I don't know anything.
What did you say, Naomi? I'm sorry, I missed that.
that's all right. I said it's like that moment in Superman when you realize that if Superman had really caught Lois Lane in the air, he would have
When he
snapped her in
shredded
pieces.
her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
Would have
oh
cut her
man,
into
you just
3
ruined my
slices.
fantasies,
Yeah.
man.
If he's
Yeah.
that strong, if they did hook
Yeah.
up and he rolled over onto her in the middle of the night, he'd crush your
Yeah.
bones.
Yeah. Physics is a bitch, ain't it?
Don't
Yeah.
don't cuddle Superman, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Northwood says the story that got my attention was when something showed up and messed with an ICBM site. I've heard
Yeah.
about stuff like that. Northwoods is another Air Force guy like you, Carrie.
Oh, right on. Yeah, and the ICBM sites. Not only that, but have you noticed that there have been multiple sightings, too many to count, close to military installations. So is there intelligence gathering? Are they doing ISR, intelligence, surveillance, recon on these military sites to gauge our technological, not advances, but our technological status? So it's weird how they always kind of hang out. You see a lot of sightings around military installations.
Yeah.
Now, Marshall, I'm not saying your brains would spray on the opposite wall in that turn. That's a huge jump from having brains to having them spray. I don't know that you have brains.
Oh,
Well,
Sorry,
I wondered where that
being-
was going.
yeah, I'm in no danger.
That's
We
a
all know
big
that.
assumption.
it's
Lanita,
empty
thank
up
you
here.
so much.
I'm
That
gonna give
is
you
awesome, Lanita.
Ah,
medical
Just got
term.
a super sticker from Lanita.
Lanita,
She says video game controller evolves into a muscled versions of itself under the word level up. Well, thank you, Lanita. Thank you very much.
Cool.
We
Dude,
we had something happen just recently that could very well be another UFO, or in this case, what do they call it? USOs, unidentified submerged objects.
Mhm.
When the USS Connecticut, a Seawolf class attack submarine, struck something off the coast of China in the China Sea, in the South China Sea. They claim the official statement from the U.S. Navy was that they struck a mountain, a previously uncharted mountain. Considering that submarines operate by sonar, you'd think they'd see something the size of a mountain. I can understand they hit a buoy. I can understand they hit, a sunken
we
ship.
hit a mountain with our underwater ground detection system.
These are like
we hit a mountain.
These Seawolf class attack submarines are what, $8 billion a piece, and you tell me they couldn't find a mountain?
Yeah, this is my bullshit flag that I'm waving. So just in case anybody's wondering. Yeah.
Well, there's some other weird stuff that went on with that. Not only did it hit something at speed, it was able to recover and limp on to Guam.
The mountain did?
No, the Connecticut.
Imagine. They didn't hit
That's a hell of a mountain, guys.
But no sooner than it was struck, the U.S. Navy pulled every Seawolf class submarine back to port.
Yeah,
they were all like screened off and brought on new equipment.
Yeah,
guys, there's a new mountain out there. We need to get you on.
That tells me they were worried about what they hit.
Yeah. They had an immediate stand down. in that sub fleet, and something wasn't jiving. Yeah, something wasn't jiving, man.
Oh, I totally agree. The official word is, and people have been cashiered. They're lost careers over striking something. But I think they hit a USO. I think they hit something that they couldn't avoid. Because mountains Last time I checked, I've never been run up and sucker punched by a mountain. I've gone hiking in the woods and I've tripped and sucker punched myself on a rock or two, but I've never had one just come rushing up to meet me.
You clearly don't know how to place blame.
Exactly.
I didn't know that mountain was there.
I didn't know it was so aggressive.
Damn mountain.
Yeah, Rage.
Dude, I got attacked by Bigfoot in the woods. No, that was a mountain. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rage Plays had a really good comment. Da.
What's he say
on here? It said, he said, I'm just going to say that that I am sure if aliens are real, that they are more likely, much more intelligent than we are, and it is out of the realm possibility that they may understand physics better than us.
I'd say you're absolutely correct.
That's a completely fair assumption. Yeah.
The idea that we're the only intelligent species, only intelligent like thumb-bearing race in the universe is incredibly naive. I mean, look at just how vast and expansive our universe is.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday, they published papers saying they have seen 2 black holes that are going to collide in 250 million years. It's only 90 some odd thousand light years away from us.
Yeah.
Gerald Tuberville says there are a lot of high-level government officials talking about this right now. What's going on with that and why now? I have a theory, and this is just my theory.
Invasion.
You guys can tell me I'm full of crap, or have your own opinions, because your opinion is just as valuable as mine. But this is what I think. When you start looking at all the little pieces and all the other places and start plugging those pieces into bigger pictures, the government is starting to be more forthcoming about it. That means they're about to drop some information we're probably not going to like. And on top of that, and I love him or hate him, the simple fact that President Trump created the Space Force, that was done for a reason.
Yeah, there's more to all this stuff than
he started increasing our ability to respond to extraterrestrial threats.
And
that's not an accident. I guarantee that wasn't him just waking up one day, sending out a stupid tweet about Kafifi and then going, let's make a new branch of the military. No, there was a plot behind that. And I guarantee there's more to it than we know.
I think there was a lot more government involvement in the creation of the Space Force than they care to admit. But I'm reasonably certain they're willing to just let, my chat knows I'm not a trumper or a trumpet, as I call it. But I think they're letting Trump take the fall for it being for it being perceived as a dumb idea. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you the government's been planning on doing this for at least a decade.
Yeah.
So you're saying they waited for a president to get into office that they could blame it on?
That they could blame it on, yeah. I mean, president's a figurehead anyway. I mean,
well,
the government makes the decisions.
The time
regardless
of the release of all these declassified documents, branches of the U.S. military, being the Air Force and the Navy, both saying this is happening, and now we've got a Space Force. They're building to something. They're going to make, probably in the next few years, they're going to make an announcement that we're not going to like a very, very real possibility that we may be facing a threat we've never faced before from the outside. Ronald Reagan was quoted in 1984 as saying, "What this world needs to unite it is a common threat from the outside." And that's an absolute quote from Reagan. He dropped that in a speech, and everybody was like, "Oh, what is that? What is that supposed to mean?"
What does that mean?
We still talk about it to this day.
Well,
and then,
don't
of course,
you think
go back. Go ahead. Sorry,
Naomi. Don't you think that what Reagan was doing there was getting Russia to break itself?
Probably.
I mean, he was telling the world, "Ooh, we've got this awful threat out here," and Russia was eating that up, and they were like, "Ooh, we got to do something," and they financially broke themselves in the process, and that's how the wall fell.
Rage Play says a few weeks ago, Russia was testing ground to space rockets by shooting their own satellite. I don't know how to feel about that. Well,
they didn't need the satellite anymore, apparently.
Yeah, but
take it down.
Look at that. Why would they suddenly need to fine tune the ability to shoot down spaceborne threats?
Right. Yeah.
Well, what about the hypersonic? What about the hypersonic vehicle from China that they just talked about? This may do low suborbital, orbits around the Earth at hypersonic speed, and it is nuclear capable. So, I mean, that's kind of freaking terrifying. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Is the theory, like, is the group theory, I guess I should say, is it that the next world war you think is going to be a war of the worlds, so to speak?
I think it'll be the one that unites us against a common threat. I really do. I mean, well, heck, if you want
God, we got to come up with a really good virus then to kill the aliens. Where can we get a virus to kill the aliens?
The H.G. Wells estate will sue us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want to really get out your crinkly tinfoil hat, you can throw this back to all the way back to the manned Apollo missions that first went to the moon, because the first time they orbited the moon and passed the dark side of the moon, one of the astronauts said something that people are still arguing about today. He said, Houston, Santa Claus is real.
He said there is a Santa Claus.
There is a Santa Claus. You're right. That's right. There is a Santa Claus. And they don't know what he meant by that. There's been a lot of speculation, but as soon as they cleared the dark side of the moon and he was able to transmit again, he said there is a Santa Claus.
Somebody at NASA knew what he was talking about.
There's no Santa Claus?
Everyone
on the dark side of the moon.
Everyone that covered the press release on that was like, oh yeah, he just said that because Christmas is coming up soon, and he was, a small star in the sky, and it's like, dude,
in July.
It's like, no,
I'll drink to that.
He had to have been saying something, because he wasn't thinking of that on the trip.
No.
Gerald Turbeville says, so have you heard about NASA launching a new James Webb Space Telescope? It has 4 main purposes, and one of those is in search of alien life. We've had planet side like SETI. We've had massive radio telescopes aimed into deep space, and they've been looking for stuff for years. Here's another interesting thing. About a decade ago, maybe it was closer to 20 years ago, you could log into SETI and get an account, and you could actually be given the SETI live stream, so people at home could listen for alien code coming back.
Yeah, the SETI at home program.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, they killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they were getting stuff they didn't want the public to hear.
There were a lot of reports of people saying they were seeing things on telescopes and whatnot that SETI was quickly being like, hey, don't talk about this.
Yeah. Northwood says, anybody ever watched the series Stargate SG-1? Yeah, I love that show.
Oh, good Lord.
That was back when I think they're going to be doing another series of that.
I don't know how that was going to go.
Anderson can lose the weight. He really got heavy. I mean, I've got no room to talk, but he was always in MacGyver and everything. He was always a pretty thin dude, but after SG-1 went in the toilet, he put on some weight.
I think they just need to make new sci-fi series, because them trying to revitalize all these old sci-fis is just getting irritating. I mean, look what happened with Star Wars, with Star Trek. I mean, all the new stuff is just annoying as hell, and it's just it's just fan appeasement, and it's not even appeasing the fans.
Yeah.
They're literally just doing it to be like, hey guys, look what we did. We made another one. And then it's just oh, okay, this is a hot load of dog ass. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Marshall Sirota had a good comment, and I've got an anecdotal story about that, about the guy wound up 2 years ahead, no beard growth in the middle of a cornfield. Some dude made a time machine, but a friend of mine I was in the Air Force with, she was a nurse, and her brother, they were from North Carolina. Her brother went camping and with some buddies of his, and said, hey, I got to go hit the tree line real quick, and walked over the top of this crest of this hill. They saw some really bright lights, and they're like, might be some hunters or some crap like that. Well, he didn't come back for immediately, and they were like, that's weird. And they started looking for him, and they finally went back to the camp, and he came walking out of the woods with a week's worth of growth of stubble. So who knows? I mean, I don't know. Weird things happen, man. Yeah, weird things happen. And she said he never would talk about it.
The only loss of time I've ever experienced in my lifetime involved alcohol.
Been there, yeah. Also,
it's the great eraser.
Yeah.
Sal asked, "What is wrong with Star Trek?" I mean, Discovery's it's Discovery. That's all I'll say about that.
Gerald says we need to get George Knapp on the show. That would be a good guest.
That would be cool. Yeah, for sure.
I'll have to see if I can. See if I can reach out to him. Patty's back. Hey, Patty.
Welcome back, Patty.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
I was thinking the same thing.
Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Noah's completely lost. He doesn't know what that show is.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
You didn't miss much. What?
May have
Are you
a
kidding? Missing Gabe Kaplan's mustache and fro? Come on now.
What?
dude. The most memorable mustache of my youth was Tom Selleck's.
Magnum.
That's a pretty epic stash.
That's a pretty memorable mustache.
Yes.
Yeah. Some mustaches make women happy, and some mustaches make women go, ooh. Gabe Kaplan was an ooh. I'm just saying. Tom Selleck, on the other hand.
Yeah, my wife still has a crush on Sam Elliott.
Me too.
Yeah.
He can be
Another epic
120
mustache.
years old, and I will still go, wow.
Yeah, her
Although
too.
I will say, speaking of Sam Elliott and cryptids, I watched that show, The Man Who Killed Hitler and the Bigfoot, and then that's about an hour and 45 minutes of my life I will never get back.
With a title like that, I would have guessed.
It was terrible.
Okay. So
It was-
I've been,
It was a
look,
steaming pile of
I got to
crap.
tell you guys, this is so funny. I've been not feeling well. I've been laying in bed a lot, watching Netflix on my computer at the foot of my bed. And I wasn't watching Netflix. I was watching Amazon Prime, and I found a movie that was so bad that I actually hoped that the man in the really awful monkey suit would just rip off his mask and start shooting people. I don't know. It was something at Bigfoot Lake. It was like Incident at Bigfoot Lake or Massacre at Bigfoot Lake. There was a
Bigfoot
girl in
Lake,
there who
okay.
said things like, I need to pull out my compass. I have never used my compass before, but I remember how to use my compass from my astronomy class. I will now use my compass. Those were her lines. It was like, I need to stick that compass up your left nostril, girlfriend.
Yeah. Dude,
She talks like a text-to-speech inventor.
I mean, did the title of the movie not cue you off to that, Naomi? I mean,
Oh,
love-
well, when it's like this, when you're sick and you don't want to mess with it, you just hit the next thing that it comes up on the free to me, you know?
Oh,
And
God.
if it looks like it's filmed in high 8, I watch the trailer and I'm like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah, if it doesn't matter if I'm sick or not. I'm a very judge a book by its cover kind of person. So if I see a movie and it's just like, Massacre at Bigfoot Lake, I mean, like, yeah, no, that sounds like it's gonna be a load of like,
Yeah.
That sounds like me and my wife. We were watching one of those. Well, I love cryptid movies, and we were watching one the other night. And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, man, this is possibly the dumbest movie I've ever seen. And I look over at her, and she looks at me and smiles, and I'm like, well, I guess she's enjoying it, so we'll just keep watching. And pretty soon, I look over at her, and she smiles at me again. I'm like, are you actually liking this? She's like, no, I've been waiting for you to say yes.
Yeah.
Well, like, I thought you were
guys are
enjoying
natural
it.
born
Yeah.
killers.
Angie loves horror movies, but we'll be sitting going through something and she goes, yeah, this is crap. I'm like, yeah, this is crap. Or we'll just watch a preview. And
oh,
like,
I love you, Betty.
crap. This is crap. Yeah, I'm not watching it. Oh, my
Well,
Lord.
I knew the movie was going to be bad, but do you remember the Dogman movie with, that guy that was on,
The guy from According to Jim.
mhm.
The guy that played
Yeah.
Andy on According to
Yeah.
Jim.
Oh,
When
God.
the guy
Okay.
who played the brother-in-law on According to Jim is the biggest name in the movie, that's kind of what we call a red flag.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now that movie was Oscar level compared to Massacre at Bigfoot Lake.
As bad as I harsh on that movie, Dogman, and I don't even know the guy's real name. I just call him Andy from According to Jim. But as bad as that was, the plot was actually pretty decent. If the acting was like could have been done with cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
Oh no, Bigfoot is coming. We must
Mr. Bill. You know, I haven't seen the second one, but I'm tempted because it was so funny.
It was pretty schlocky, but the second one's about the same. It's kind of schlocky too, but it's worth watching. Just so you can go, yeah, I watched it for whatever reason.
That's hilarious, man.
No, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
There we go, derailing again.
Oh yeah, and I'm so sorry. It's just that I could not resist that. I remember watching it and thinking, if I am well enough to get out of my bed and turn on my stream on Saturday, I got to tell the guys about this one because they are going to laugh.
Oh, glad you're feeling better, Naoma.
Oh, me too. I'm pretty sure that I have Lucy.
Ugh. Lanita said, can't think of the game of the guy who played Aquaman, but he's beautiful. Aquaman played as well. Oh, that's
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa.
That is
Momoa.
That is a man.
That is.
Yeah, it took Jason Momoa to make the character interesting.
Yeah.
Remember the old Super
Don't
Friends
say
episodes?
that. He's my favorite. He is
Aquaman
my favorite superhero.
sucks.
Always has been since I was a kid.
You remember
They
the old
just
Super
didn't
Friends
know what
cartoons?
to do with him.
Using his aquatic telepathy,
okay, well, Super
Aquaman
Friends
summons
sucked.
a can of tuna.
I'm with you, Noah.
The entire cartoon Super Friends sucked.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Aquaman.
the Wonder Twins?
Oh,
Wonder
yeah, that was
Twins,
terrible.
activate! And like,
Meanwhile, back at
yeah.
the Hall of Justice,
we'll watch, and then like 10
to the
minutes
sandwich
later,
because he can't do crap.
I'm
form
with
of
you.
a drop of water.
Yeah, I'm with, that was Wonder Twin powers activate.
Oh God, I hated that show.
That's
But
Super Friends.
Aquaman has always been my favorite, and I will go to my grave saying he is Thor underwater. So bite me, boys.
But he was pretty much useless everywhere else.
I mean, he's a beautiful man. I ain't gonna lie. He's a beautiful man. Naoma.
Jason Momoa.
I mean, I would agree.
He's a beautiful man. My wife swoons every time she sees him. I'm like, well, sorry, I don't
he
look
is
like that.
he is one jacked man too. Like,
Oh yeah, he's yoked,
It's-
dude. He's all like,
And his
it's like I'll see him on like Instagram or something like that, and it's just like this dude is stacked, and I look down and I just like poke my belly, and I'm like,
I
oh,
saw a picture of him somebody posted online. It was Jason Momoa, and he was out shopping somewhere, and he had these two little bodyguards with him that looked about like Shia LaBeouf. And I'm like, is he protecting them?
well, the insurance company said he had to have them, so
You
he
gotta-
brought them along.
Yeah.
They're
you gotta
decorating.
fight
Yeah.
the mini
Where's
boss
his
in order to get to the
earrings?
boss.
Okay.
yeah.
You got to get through those two guys before you get to fight Jason.
Have you
Like
ever
little-
seen the Jason Momoa fan photos? They are a riot. They're always pictures of
Yes.
him like hugging the girl and shoving the
Yes.
boy away.
Yes.
I
Those are
love
great.
those.
Yeah, those
Dude,
are
he was
great.
wonderful in Dune. I loved that movie.
I have not seen Dune yet.
I hadn't seen it yet. Yeah,
He was in Game of Thrones too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
called
He was
Drogo.
Carl. Yeah. I almost said Carl Drogo.
That'd be
It's
Walking
it's like
Dead,
a-
Game of Thrones mix.
No,
Carl
it's more like
Drogo.
Carl from Sling Blade, Game of Thrones.
Oh my god!
Some folks calls it a broadsword. I call it a long sword.
I'm calling a lawnmower blade. Mhm.
I reckon you know how to get up on that horse, girl. You ride that horse real good. Yep. You got any sweet tea in there?
Y'all got any mustard and biscuits? Mhm.
I reckon.
It's like Carl, don't kill him. I reckon I ain't got no reason to kill nobody. Mhm.
That's us
I
ruining your
find
favorite
meat
show.
made me.
Yeah.
Carl
made me nervous
Drogo.
when I drank
Oh
it.
my God.
Yeah.
I reckon I have to slice your head off now.
It's like instead of drinking like wine or anything like that, he's just sitting there sipping on sweet tea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd
fine.
If it'd been Carl from Sling Blade and Game of Thrones, that means
Yeah.
the bad guy had to be Dwight Yoakam.
Well, I mean, it's Game of Thrones, so everybody's the bad guy. I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's only a couple of people in that show that I would argue are objectively good people.
The one
And the
character
list
I really
isn't
liked,
long.
they killed in the first season. Of course, it was Sean Bean, so you knew he was
Yeah.
going to die. But
He's
Yeah, I mean,
always
like
gonna
Sean
die.
Bean, it's like
I think
they
the only movie
introduce
he
him. It's
didn't
just
die
like,
in
oh, okay.
was uh, National Treasure, but he went to prison in that.
Yeah, I was about to say, and even then he went to prison. So
Yeah.
I've never
it.
seen Game of Thrones, so I'm going to have to trust you on that one.
it's. That's all
Well,
I
it had
really
Jason
goes
Momoa
downhill
in it,
after
so
Red
it couldn't have
Wedding.
been too bad.
Well,
It really
just
goes
don't-
downhill after Red Wedding. So I mean,
Just don't get attached to any characters. That's all I gotta say,
Yeah.
man. Well,
Yeah.
don't get attached to
Okay.
any character. He kills them off about as much as DA does. So I'm just saying.
Well, you know,
Damn
I
it,
just
DA.
recently discovered that my all-time favorite hottie was in Outlander. Is that a show?
Sam Hewen.
I believe so. Yeah.
That's not my all-time favorite hottie, but
Oh.
anyway,
Oh,
I don't know. And now I'm going to have to watch it, and I'm dying because I really did not want to have to watch that, but I'm going to have to watch the whole series because apparently Roger Daltrey was in it,
Really?
and Roger Daltrey is my all-time.
I'll be damned.
I don't watch a
When-
lot of TV anymore.
When the
I don't
boys
either.
were little, I got home from the sheriff's department one night and went out and sat on the back porch with the wife, and I'm drinking sweet tea out of a mason jar, like pretty typical for me. And just out of the blue, she looks over at me and goes, "Orlando Bloom." I'm like, "What about him?" She goes, "That's my free pass." I'm like, "What the hell's a free pass?" She goes, "It'd be the one person I could go and be with, and you couldn't get mad." I'm like, "That's a thing?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "I could pick anyone." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'll take the neighbor lady. That could happen."
So did you sleep on
She
the
didn't
couch
find
that
it
night
near
or
as
what?
funny as I did.
Yeah, so you probably slept on the couch that night.
No, you're supposed to pick somebody it can't happen with, DA.
Mhm.
That's the whole
Yeah,
point of
yeah,
picking
I
a
like
hall
attainable
pass.
goals.
No,
That's-
hall
that's
pass
my
is
dad
supposed
right
to be
there.
an
I'd be like,
unattainable
he's-
goal.
Yeah.
Anytime he has an opportunity to be rotten, he's gonna take it.
I mean, for instance, I could pick Roger Daltrey, but he ain't going to pick me, so it's okay for me to say that to my husband.
Yeah. Jennifer Aniston. Yeah.
Is that yours?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
she's gorgeous. Shoot, if I was,
Man.
well, I'd do her anyway, even if I'm a girl. I think she is
All
absolutely.
right,
Good night, everybody.
all right. This is where we've gone.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
we have
No,
derailed
I do. I think
really
she's
weird.
absolutely gorgeous,
Yeah.
and I can't understand Brad Pitt because he threw her over for a woman who looks like she's being sucked out of her body through her lips.
Amen. She's finer than a frog hair split 4 ways with a keen razor blade. Good Lord.
What does that mean?
Well, you know how fine frog hairs are.
No,
They're so
no, I
they're
don't.
so fine they're non-existent. So this and it's even finer as you split them 4 ways with a sharp blade.
That's right.
So yeah.
Northwood says, "Hey, D, I just got the book today with Operation Lily and the other stories. Awesome, man. I
Yes.
hope you like it."
Yes. I got to start reading that. That's
I was pretty happy with the way Dog Soldiers came out. Dog Soldier,
oh
the
yeah.
short story about Gray Eagle.
Yeah, that was a great lead into his character, man. I really the background, the backstory on that, I dig that. That was really well done.
And a certain pocket-sized medic shows up in it as well.
Little bit, little fella, handsome little fella.
Call him Pocket Doc.
A little
Good
bit.
dog.
Oh Lord, yeah. Josh Dalton said, "Yeah, off the rails, rolled down the mountainside, and in the river bottom." That's the fact. Ooh, what were we talking about? UFOs originally? I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Some are lost along the lines. We totally lost the UFO track.
We decided if Jason Momoa was an alien, we'd give up quickly.
My chat over here is just like, what happened to the alien conversation? I was like, dude, what are you doing?
I suppose
just-
we should probably get back to talking.
I just
about
said,
it.
welcome to a conversation between us. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Noah
I'm
can
so
tell you
sorry.
every conversation I've ever had with friends at the house has happened just like this.
yeah,
We'll be talking about something and somebody will mention something else, and the next thing you know, we're off on a tangent.
you'll start on one topic, right? And then it'll branch off to a side story, which is all right in most cases, right? But that side story, he needs to tell you a different side story in order to give you the concept behind that first side
Context,
story.
man. Context is everything.
And that,
Yeah, but-
that additional side story he has to give you, there's another thing in there that there's another side story that he needs to tell you.
It's all like squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ooh. And I'm the same way too. So I mean, like,
It's
I
more
wonder
like
where I get that from.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
squirrel, rabbit, shiny light.
Shiny red balloons.
Yeah, for me, it's more of, ooh, shiny. Oh, hey.
Okay. Okay.
Shane
Hey.
Moore. It's the boy.
Okay. Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
okay. Hey.
Look who it is. Hey, Shane. How you doing, buddy?
Oh.
Well,
Now,
you
as
know,
far as Native Americans and UFOs, been a
that
lot
would be
of
a great thing to talk to Shane about.
yeah, there's been a lot of activity. My buddy John was working in the Four Corners on the res several years back on a nursing contract, and he said there was a lot of stories of UFOs down there, especially like in where the Skinwalker Ranch area was.
I was about to say that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that Skinwalker Ranch has a lot of stories of things flying over that nobody knows what they are.
Yeah, a lot.
Well, just a few weeks ago, there was a UFO
energy
sighting over
forces.
downtown Springfield, Missouri.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was-
You missed
It was
that?
filmed in broad daylight over downtown Springfield. It was cube shaped and changed positions multiple times and then just took off.
We're under attack by the Borg.
Resistance
We
is
will be-
futile. They were here for our cashew chicken.
Oh, I mean, if they want to just not assimilate us and just kind of show up and get cashew chicken every once in a while, I think we can make the sacrifice. We need you to feed 6 million mouths cashew chicken, or we're going to assimilate your entire race. You know, I think we can pull that, actually. Yeah, believe it or not.
Hong Kong Inn can handle that in an afternoon in the drive-thru. Have you seen those people?
Yeah,
Oh my God. They
Yeah,
sling
the
more
staff-
cashew chicken than anybody.
The staff at Hong Kong Inn are crazy, man. They're so fast. I love those guys.
Northwood says the only UFO I ever saw was when I was in the Air Force. Was when they brought in an F-117 for base open house.
Dude, the Wobble Goblin?
The Wobbly
Yeah.
Goblin.
Yeah,
I freaking love that thing. It's so
dude.
good.
Don't touch it. Don't touch that skin on that thing. They'll lose their mind. They will get pissed at you. We did that in Al Jaber when we were out in Kuwait, going into Iraq. And they were like, "Oh, don't touch the skin." Apparently, it was bad. I don't know.
Don't
but it does-
touch the freaking con on the F-117. Like you take off in that thing and you're gonna regret it.
Exactly.
Wait, don't push the skin on what?
An
Don't touch the
F-117.
skin F-117 because the
Stealth
oils on your fingers mess it up or something. But yeah, those things were crazy when they take off. You see all the lights and everything, the anti-collision lights, and then all
So
of a
what
sudden,
happens if an insect flies into it?
that's what I was wondering.
I mean, you know, if your fingers can't touch it, what do
know.
they do? Dodging mosquitoes?
I'm going to
and-
guess at in excess of Mach 1 that
It
anything
stops
on the
mattering.
skin of that's going to burn off in just a very short amount
But
of
We're
time.
moving
that's
at
not the
supersonic
point. The
speed. I don't
point
think
is
it's
it
gonna
touched
matter.
it.
I'm
It's
with
not
you,
the point,
Naoma.
it touched it.
I'm with you, Naoma.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know. They got kind of pissy about us touching it and getting around it.
I'd have
away.
licked it.
Get away.
I'd have just walked right up and licked it.
If I lick it, it's mine.
Hey, when you grow up in a big family, that's how you mark your bread at the breakfast table. You want
Oh,
that
man.
extra piece of chicken, you lick it and put it back on the plate. No one's going to touch it.
Talking about aircraft, I remember one time
Not
back when I
stop
was
my brothers.
working furniture warehouse. I was out in the summer one day, and I was just pulling stuff into the warehouse because we just gotten trucked that day, and I heard something like flying overhead. I was like, I don't recognize the sound of that engine. And I look up, and there's 3 A-10s flying north towards Whiteman, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I wonder what those guys are doing.
That's pretty wrong.
I have a
man.
question for a member of the audience.
Sure, shoot.
Papa Bear, are you still in the hospital or are you home? Because I saw you comment earlier. All right, move on. He'll answer eventually if he's home.
Mondoc
Murphy
40 in
store.
research says one of my shop chiefs said that any good hardware store would have the 3 components needed to make coating for an F-117. What are those? What are those elements? I can have a stealth minivan,
A shitload of Krylon.
flat black Krylon.
Yeah, exactly. the grill Krylon for high temperature.
No, it's just black spray paint. Spray paint. You can buy it anywhere.
Must be on his cell phone then.
Little known fact.
Well, I guess he would be anyway. but-
Stealth paint is just spray paint.
Yes. Just rattle
Flat
can
black
love.
spray paint.
Yeah, you gotta get the matte black cans. You can't get
When I was
the
in college,
metallic
I had a buddy that had a flat black Maverick. He'd
Oh
rattle
my
canned
God.
it.
Yes. Now, I mean, to that end, though, I mean, a lot of the stuff that people were seeing back in the day, the Air Force or people were attributing to, experimental aircraft in the Air Force, right? Back in the day. But I mean, what about the stuff now? What about the stuff now? I mean, near these Air Force installations, they're like, nope, that's not us. So, what is it? What could it be? Just saying.
Exactly.
Could be a big, like I said, I think it's, I don't know what your thoughts are, Noah, but I mean, I think it, or Naoma, I think it could be them gathering intelligence.
Wait, I was talking to my chat there for a second. I missed what was said.
No, about the crafts that are being seen near military installations and around. I think they're gathering intelligence.
I'd be willing to say that it was probably recon, trying to figure out what we're capable of.
Well,
I mean, could it be
pilots see them all the time? Even commercial pilots report seeing them.
Yeah, I mean, could it be unmanned? Could it be unmanned? I mean, certainly. I mean, we have the capability of unmanned aircraft, couldn't they? Too. I mean, it would stand to reason they do if they're that much more sophisticated.
Make those right turns at Mach 3 a lot easier to handle.
Let's go out on a limb here and say we're like a galactic zoo, and they send observers here to see the evolution of a hominid species, something like that. Exactly. Yeah. Well, a lot of people have Bigfoot sightings and say that they saw a UFO within close proximity. If an alien race came all the way here to study us, they would study every hominid, not just us.
True. Yeah,
I would study every species.
Sooner or later, they learn pretty quick not to probe the grizzly bears.
Wow.
Yeah. Whatever you do not probe that one.
I know. The big fuzzy dog over there, the one that weighs like 800 pounds. Now don't stick your finger anywhere near that one.
Yeah, he killed all of us last time. Yeah, he killed everybody.
It's just like,
but it's so fluffy. I want to pet it.
It's like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, and I think the zoo theory, I like that because they're like y'all were saying, they're going to study all the species. I mean, our strengths, our weaknesses. I mean, because isn't that what gathering intelligence is about? When you're studying somebody, just to gather their strengths and their weaknesses.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't really. There's another theory that thinks that they're coming for our resources, and I don't think that is as viable because the mineral deposits we have on Earth are a bare fraction of what you can mine in the Oort cloud and in the asteroid belt.
Yeah,
all of the elements we have, and some we don't, exist out there in the Oort cloud and in the asteroid field in much greater abundance.
I mean, hell, look in the belt around Saturn, man. I mean, they probably have more natural resources there than millions of years worth of resources more than we do,
or at least more achievable resources in the rings of Saturn.
Yeah,
you don't have to basically nuke the Earth for.
This is time traveling tourists. That very well could be.
Yeah.
Sal Paso says when aliens fly by Earth, they lock their doors. Yeah, because we're the Arkansas of the universe.
Oh God, yeah.
Hey.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's like hold on, roll the windows up. Like I hear banjo music. We're a little too close to Earth.
The last time they tried to land here was in Roswell in 1948. Look how that turned out. In 30 seconds, their entire spacecraft was up on blocks, and we were stealing everything we could find.
So Papa Bear said something that's kind of funny, and I've heard this before about octopi being sentient beings, not from this planet.
Yeah, their genetic code is very different from any other animal they've ever diagnosed, and they're extremely intelligent.
Oh yeah. Crazy smart. Yeah, crazy smart.
There was one story I read about an octopus that was in an aquarium at one of the bigger zoo aquariums out on the West Coast, and it was annoyed by one of the tube lights, the lighting above its cage, and it climbed out of the enclosure and squirted water on it to short it out.
That's crazy.
I don't know. Talking about squid or octopus being like strange and like kind of out of place in comparison to everything else on the Earth just reminds me of that game Octodad. It's such a freaking weird game.
Never heard of that. But they would be
Doc, I think this was directed at you.
Them critters taste real good.
Them critters taste real good. Put some mustard on them.
You batter them up real good and deep fry them.
Fry 'em up.
That's why aliens don't land in South Louisiana, because they'll make a gumbo out of anything.
Yeah, they will.
Actually, I think that's why the aliens don't stop on Earth more than they do, because we don't taste real good.
It's like what do they call that area down there? They call it the bayou. No, we ain't landing down there again. Last time we were down there, we got fried.
Yeah.
Literally, they deep fried us and ate us. We're not going back.
Giving me the exact date on that. I knew it was in 47 or 48, but I said the wrong one. Thanks for pointing that out, though.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be terrified of any kind of alien race coming down here like that. I mean, because who knows what their technological capabilities are, and how are we going to be able to be defensible against that?
Thus the space creation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know,
And
man.
some of
I
these
like the
newer
idea
fighters-
that
Some of these newer fighters, like the F-22, are capable of combat operations at a much higher altitude than previous versions of the aircraft.
Yeah.
I like the theory from that movie Signs that the alien species that invades is susceptible to water on a planet that's made of 70% water.
What were they thinking? Clearly,
like
they were not invading. Clearly, they broke down and they were looking for a place to pull over.
They were looking for a mechanic to fix their shit, and they were just like, yeah, we're gonna stop here. Oh shit, it's Earth.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about an invading army you can beat with a super soaker.
These slack-jawed yokels are just throwing tap water on us, and it's killing us. What's going on here?
I actually really love that movie.
Oh yeah, that movie's so good. It's creepy as hell, but it's super good.
Yeah,
like,
the whole
what would
concept's
possess
a little
them to attack a planet? Voice crack there. Attack a planet that's like 70% water. It's like, dude, like
they needed our resources. Who knows?
I'm gonna go attack a
resources.
planet that's 70% hydrochloric acid.
I think they were just here they were like an alien teenager graffiti artists because they were putting those crop circles everywhere. It's just basically alien graffiti.
Banksy. It's just Banksy.
My chat's convinced that if any alien race touched down, they'd have to basically just exterminate us the Earth in order to actually colonize it.
Well, I mean, and DA, I mean, look at the Inca lines. Let's look at
the
how
Nazca
far
lines.
Nazca lines. Yeah, I mean, look how far back that goes. I mean, was that some sort of primitive navigation system, or?
Well, some of them look like a giant runway.
Wasn't something that was necessary to see from the ground because you have to be in the air to really see them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So either those Incas were really good at flying, or somebody was seeing something.
Yeah, well before we even thought about manned flight, unless that's something that was lost in, those civilizations that were lost. So, I mean, and you look at even on there was some chapel, I can't remember, some cathedral, and it looked like it dated back a long time ago. I think it was in Germany, but there was it looks literally like a dude in a spacesuit, just like some of the Inca stuff or the Mayan stuff. So,
there's a lot of historical questions brought up where there could have been possible sightings. I mean, even my mother talked about in the Bible Ezekiel in the wheel, that was possibly an alien spacecraft.
Yeah. Well, what was that? What's that? Eric, what's his name? Chariots of the Gods. Eric, I can't remember his last name now, but he wrote that book, and it talks about the ancient aliens that were around here. That UFOs are not something that were just that are new. They've been documented for thousands of years.
Well, go ahead, Noah. Sorry.
I was just going to say, brief side note, the whole wheel of Ezekiel thing, the whole angel coming down with just a wheel of eyes. If you remember correctly, it says, "Be not afraid." If you show yourself to me and you are a wheel of eyes, I'm going to be shitting myself.
Right there with you, brother. Lock and load.
It's like, be not afraid. No, I'm going to be. Yeah, and you don't get to decide that.
I'm going to go with be very afraid.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Wieners.
There's another famous UFO encounter back when it was, I think it was still the Army Air Corps. It was right after World War II. It was somewhere, I believe, in Kentucky. a pilot in a P-51 Mustang tried to catch one and wound up crashing, killed him.
Damn.
I'd have to Google that incident because I can't remember the pilot's name, but that's documented. I mean, that's, the Air Force admitted that happened. He was chasing an unidentified flying object in a supercharged P-51 Mustang and wound up crashing the aircraft because he couldn't keep up and couldn't handle the maneuvers.
By the way, before we get too far, I wanted to point out this painting right here from the Renaissance. Interesting background.
A UFO in the background.
Yeah, even a guy back there looking at it.
She's a witch. Burn her.
You don't know she's a witch. How can you tell?
Well, she turned me into a newt.
I love looking at the old reports from, I mean, even before World War II, like Renaissance era, reports of people seeing things in the sky that they can't explain.
Yes.
And there's a theory that Da Vinci's flying machine was modeled off of something that he saw in the air. But the thing is, because of how far away from it he was, he couldn't get an actual accurate look at it. So he just went with what he thought would work.
I mean, it makes sense.
He was just trying to replicate what he saw.
Very well possible. I found that incident I was talking about. It was called the Mantel Incident. It was on January 7th, 1948. 25-year-old Captain Thomas F. Mantel of the Kentucky Air National Guard died in a plane crash when his P-51 fighter near Franklin, Kentucky, after being in pursuit of an unidentified flying object. The event is among the most publicized early UFO incidents.
I know where Franklin, Kentucky is.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, because the P-51. We were talking in P-51D at 478 miles an hour top speed, a fastest prop plane, of its time. And I mean, if he was trying to hink and jink with a UFO, he should have jinked when he hinked, So those things probably just outflew him. It was probably just kids. It was probably like a F-22 flying against the Wright brothers, So who knows?
And no kidding. Or like a battalion of soldiers from the Revolutionary War trying to go up against a Ranger battalion of modern day army.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, Revolutionary War guys versus modern guys. I mean, you could probably settle for just a squad of modern guys versus the entire freaking 41st Regiment.
Yeah, two Humvees, one with a Mark 19, one with the M134D.
Hell, one Humvee with one Mark 19 would absolutely shred the revolutionaries.
Yeah, that'd be pretty much because they all lined up Napoleonic lines, all that kind of.
Oh yeah,
but, Richie Evans, man, I did not know that. That's crazy. 100,000 feet.
Yeah, I read an article one time. One of the test pilots of the F-16 when it was still in development was told to push it as high as he could go, and he got high enough that the engines kicked out and it went weightless, and he was able to flip it over and eject back into the atmosphere.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
I bet he needed a new pressure suit, didn't he?
I bet he did. And a big change of underwear too.
I was about to say, I bet you there were some skid marks too.
Yeah, that's insane, man. That is insane. Holy crap.
Yeah, I like the F-16. You can pretty much just point the nose of that thing up and just go.
It's insane.
Wow.
You get a little bit of speed to take off, then you just kick that thing vertical and just go. Just climb.
It's a beautiful thing to see. Beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
F-16 is a beautiful aircraft.
Yeah, it is. Especially when it's bringing some pain on some bad guys. It's a great close air support vehicle. A little fast. It's all right.
Oh, Northwood says that was the Strike Eagle and was stripped down to minimum equipment.
The Streak Eagle was the F-15 that.
Oh, okay. The Streak Eagle
climbed.
So it wasn't an F-16. It was an F-15, but we had the tech to do it.
That's insane. Wow.
Which means the newest generation, they probably took that into account. I would say in an emergency, they could probably go exo-atmospheric briefly.
No, I mean, ideally, all you'd have to do is I mean, get more oxygen to the F-16 and then self-contain the engine, and then you could just take it out of atmosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that much different from a spacecraft as it already sits.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aren't they working on some plasma propulsion systems now, DA?
Yeah, they've got a lot of stuff in the works.
Testing that.
The plasmic and the ionic engines that they've been working on aren't really working out that well. I was reading up a paper from DARPA, and they were talking about how they were working on these engines, and testing just is inconclusive. It's just like ionic engines don't propel very well. They don't produce a lot of energy, or they don't produce a lot of thrust vectoring.
That's just what they're saying, and they're already in use.
Look at this hand over here. Don't pay attention.
Oh no,
to
that
this
doesn't
hand.
work.
Take a look at what the hand is doing, not the other one.
Exactly.
Plasmic engines, I would say would probably work pretty well. And that would probably be the one that they would go with, because ionic engines, the thing is they just can't produce thrust. They just don't. They'd be good for like in space travel, maybe, but like not in atmosphere.
Gotcha.
71 Blackbird crew pretty much wore space suits. Yeah.
They did. Yep. Yeah, they did.
I mean, they were basically in a low orbit.
Yeah.
Like if you look at pictures from the cockpit of the SR-71s, you can see frost on the canopy because of how high they are.
That'd have been so sick.
And like,
yeah, it would have been really sick.
In low atmosphere.
Oh, not that way.
Leaks fuel.
Yeah. No, not in the illness way, but yeah, those things.
Okay.
Those things are amazing. Yeah, those things are amazing. Still, I mean, it still holds what altitude and speed records, does it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when I was at Lackland Air Force Base on the parade grounds, they had a mock-up, an old decommed SR-71 there on the parade ground.
They're working on the 72, the son of Blackbird. They've been working on that for better part of a decade now, so I bet you they already have a couple that are in use.
Is that supposed to be hypersonic like the Aurora?
They're pretty quiet about it, but let me get back to you about that.
All right.
Well, here's a paranoid food for thought. If we've got a space force now, what are they capable of? What off the books technology do they have that we were never told about? Because they're pretty useless as a space force if they can't leave the planet.
Yeah, plasma rifles in the 40 milliwatt range.
Yeah,
the 72 is a hypersonic UAV that they're working on.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Yeah, Sal said something about the SR-71. I remember the guys talking about this. It leaked fuel on the ground, but when it got up to speed and it got pressurized, everything sealed up. Yeah,
I think that's crazy. Insane.
That's when we got
crazy.
When we did our first Chinook jump, the crew chief was like, "If it ain't leaking, it ain't flying." The damn thing had hydraulic fluid all over the place.
Oh man, Chinooks are beautiful. I love those helicopters.
They're badass birds, man.
Oh yeah,
they're badass birds.
To fly those suckers, I mean, it takes a pretty good deal of skill.
Yeah. My buddy Tony flew him in a Nighthawk. He was a Night Stalker, and he flew him in a 160th, the MH-47. Those things are sweet.
When I worked at the hospital, security had to be up on the helipad every time a chopper came in for fire suppression. And most of the time it was just those little light medevac choppers. But we had one brought a patient in one night and they told us to clear both pads. And I'm like, why? They're like, it needs a lot of room. I'm like, how big is this bastard? And it was a big converted Sikorsky. It barely fit on our pad. It had two pilots, not a pilot and a co-pilot. It had two pilots. And that thing came in and he just kind of wedged it in between the buildings and set it down. I was like, holy crap.
Man.
The prop wash was about to blow me off the roof.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Sal, what's the lifting capacity on the Chinook? I don't know, man, but I know it can hook up an Abrams, sling load an Abrams. And that Abrams was what, 60 tons? Something like that.
Yeah.
Or
on the A3 Abrams
I don't think they've ever found its upper limit of carrying capacity.
Yeah.
If you
know
can
the
stuff it
carrier.
in it, it's going to get it off the ground.
Yep.
We're on the A3 Abrams now, yeah?
Don't make me lie,
Don't
man.
know.
I don't know.
Rage
but they're
Play
like-
says, I still feel we stopped going to the moon because they finished the Stargate. I don't know, man. It's very well could be. I mean, I think very well that we did capture alien technology at Roswell because
Oh yeah.
look how far our technology went from 1900 to the year 2000. In the span of 100 years, we went from barely industrialized society to society on the that has been to the moon, is sending probes out of the solar system,
Yeah.
and internet technology, cell phone technology. We did that in 100 years.
Yeah. Lasers. Lasers, fiber optics, all that kind of stuff. Cloaking
Mhm.
technology.
Current service Abrams weigh between 71 and 74 short tons. So
Whew.
about 67 tons.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
lot.
big beast.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely,
if the Chinook can lift that up, and I mean it chugs whenever it does lift an Abrams, but it doesn't like lose any real
No.
gumption. So I mean, like
No.
for it to be able to lift an Abrams and still just chug along, it's got a pretty insane lifting capacity.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Crazy.
Okay.
You okay, Neil?
Yeah, I'm just struggling a little bit, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm
It's all right.
No,
Yeah. I think that stuff makes me a little bit drowsier than it claims to.
My wife can take Tylenol and it knocks her out. I mean,
Maybe
give her non-drowsy anything and she's still going to sleep.
I just take medicine and then I just go to sleep. It's not that it puts me to sleep. I take medicine. I'm like, I'm gonna conk out for a little bit.
God forbid you give my wife NyQuil. She's done for 12 hours.
Oh, I have a great story about NyQuil. I took NyQuil at my kitchen sink one time, walked through my living room, got up about 5 steps and fell asleep face down on the stairs. I made it roughly 20 feet.
I took some Alka-Seltzer cold one time, and it was when I first started Dark Angel Medical. I was sitting there doing orders and stuff, and I didn't realize it was Alka-Seltzer nighttime. And I had to go pick my daughter up, and I'm sitting there at my computer screen like all wall-eyed, and I had to go walk up the street and get my daughter from the bus stop. And I was walking along the sidewalk, and I was like, dude, I would fail a field sobriety test right now because I am crunk on this freaking Alka-Seltzer cold. I was about to pass out on my feet, man.
Back when I worked at
Daughters.
Men's Warehouse, one of my coworkers gave me an Alka-Seltzer because I wasn't feeling that well. She didn't realize that it was the nighttime ones, and I was getting so drowsy at work. My boss was like,
man.
"You need to go home early," and I'm like, "I'm off in 2 hours. It'll be okay." At the end of my shift, I got in the car and just went.
Yeah. Do you need
I was just gone.
Do you need Narcan? No, it's not opiates. It's just nighttime Alka-Seltzer.
Do you need Narcan? If
Man.
my boss at Men's Warehouse asked me if I need Narcan, I think he'd just fire me.
Oh Lord. Whew. Mercy.
Yeah.
When I
Northwoods
was in the
Cryptid
law
says,
enforcement academy, when we did the field sobriety section, there was a 2-day period where we broke into 2 groups, and group A would get drunk and group B would do all the field tests on them. And then the next day you switch positions. Well, the day I was drinking Irish whiskey, and I'm an old hand at drinking Irish whiskey. And they take me out there. They have one of these young kids pour fields on me, and he's doing all the tests. And he's like, he's fine. I'd let him go. And one of our instructors was like, Roberts, how drunk are you? I'm like, I'm pretty drunk. He's like, you fooled him and you're drunk? I'm like, yeah. So he made me do the blood, the breath test. It was like a 0.12. The kid's like, I would have let him go. I'm like, no, you shouldn't have let me go.
you could
The
smell
instructor
it
was
on
like,
his
I think
breath.
you just failed the course.
Oh my god. And like when he got home from that, he
I was
literally
toasted.
staggered in the door and then fell over the arm of the couch and was just out. He's just
Crawled
gone
up onto the
immediately.
couch and passed out.
DA's all like, best day ever.
Getting paid to get drunk.
Yeah.
Getting drunk at school. Yeah.
I wonder how. I wonder
Yeah,
how
there were 3 or
aliens-
4 people that tested me that was they like he's got his HGN is fine. He's walking the line fine. I'd probably let him go. They're like, oh no, he is really drunk.
Hey, he's slapped.
I failed those tests dead sober.
I couldn't say my alphabet backwards sober, man.
Yeah, it's like you're
At all.
that's a tall order, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, nope, not doing it. Just take me to jail because I can't even pass it. I'm stone cold sober, but just handcuff me. I'm done.
Northwood's cryptid in your chat, Dad, said the thing that used to knock me out was Jack and Coke. Yeah, it's because you have to sleep off the flavor of Jack Daniels.
Oh, it's not that bad.
It's
I've drank
pretty
worse
bad.
Canadian Mist. I mean, I wouldn't name anything Canadian Mist
Whew, Lord have mercy.
or Southern
yeah.
Comfort. Oh,
How about those UFOs?
yeah, we gotta get back to
How
the
about those
UFOs. Start talking about our
UFOs?
alcohol exploits.
UFOs. Sofus backwards.
And we actually aptly identified the reason why they don't want to come visit us anyway. It's
I
'cause
think
we're
they
a whole
just
bunch of
watched
drunk
this
idiots.
show. I think they watched
just-
this show and they're like, yeah, we ain't going there.
I'm just waiting for one of them to come down and go, hey, I want to party with y'all. I want to party with you guys.
We're gonna have an alien race that goes by that's
Yeah.
like, holy these guys know how to party.
And these guys are awesome.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
party with those guys. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You're going to
exactly,
come
man.
party with me, but first we're going to have a water gun fight and see if you survive it.
There you go. Here's some cold virus and some water guns. Let's get
Yeah.
at it.
I feel like
Pitter-patter.
we're less like the Arkansas of the universe. I feel like we're more like the college town where they think everyone's
Yeah.
just partying and drunk all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't really want to
Yeah.
go there because there's not a lot to do. I mean, everyone's just wasted constantly.
You know, they're up there going, hey, you guys bored? Let's go check out Earth for a
Yeah,
couple
let's
hours.
go see
Yeah.
what those weird monkeys are doing.
Yeah. It's like some guy said earlier, it's like a sightseeing. It's like a tourist attraction for the aliens. Let's go
It's
see
an
Earth.
amusement
you
park.
know? Yeah, literally. man. Like, well,
They
it's like
sell
a zoo.
tickets, fill a
Yeah,
ship,
yeah.
send them all here.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why
like
they
a
have so
zoo.
many windows along the side of their ships because all the people are the portholes so they can look out and see what we're doing.
Yeah,
Like, oh. And if you
Yeah.
look at your left side, you will see 2 humans in a tree.
just don't go to Panama City during spring break. Jesus, Lord have
Mark
mercy.
Napier says you wouldn't even know you got probed.
I don't eat more of that Jack and Coke. It makes my butt hurt.
That's all. That's what we need is drunk aliens. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And then they show up
Oh.
on Earth. They're like, "We're here to conquer you guys." It's like, "Have you tried bourbon?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"No, what's that?" And we're like, "Oh, do we have something for you?"
Who's
I'll
conquering
take,
who?
baby.
Either it kills them or they end up enjoying it and they leave us alone.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. We can't lose in that situation.
Hey,
Well-
DA, I got a question for you, man. On that cuboid UFO that was
Mhm.
sighted over Springfield, was there ever any intel on that from the Air Force or anything like that? Or
Not that I heard. They talked about it on the news, but they've never really come out and said what it was. Although it was seen by hundreds of people.
yeah, because there's been other cuboid shaped UFOs around. I know there was one in over Russia, maybe a couple years ago, but it was cube shaped as well. And have you heard of them cloaking themselves in clouds? They
Mhm.
cloak themselves in clouds too. So I don't know.
Yeah, they
Well,
did that over Mexico in Science. I saw them.
And the image I've got for the one on Springfield is not a great image, but you can definitely see it's cube shaped.
Yeah, I've seen some of them that have like a
It's like it was
reflective
taken with a
capability where it kind of
flip phone.
blends in with the sky too, so it's reflecting everything off. I don't know. That's
Pretty
interesting.
cool.
How many people saw that, or how many people reported that?
I made the
lot.
news, and there were tons of people.
Yeah.
Tons of people that saw it. This, however, is my favorite image of it because this is nothing says Springfield, Missouri quite like this. The picture of the alien spacecraft taking over a liquor store.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's the definition of Springfield, Missouri, right there.
Dude was probably pulling up in front of the liquor store going, man, I got to stop drinking. Or maybe I need to start drinking. I don't know.
They're not.
They were just making a quick pit stop.
Yeah,
Maybe they.
That's
maybe
what
we
the
already
aliens are
got them
doing.
hooked on bourbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already
maybe
got
they
them
are.
hooked on bourbon. They're just coming in to get more bourbon and leaving.
Yeah. But it does look like the freaking Borg ship.
Yeah.
It really does.
Freaking
creepy.
Borg cube said, no. That's the armpit of the universe. We're getting out of this neighborhood.
Yeah.
We don't want to assimilate them. We would be doing them a favor assimilating them. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. That's weird.
What's a
man.
Borg? No answer.
The cyborgs. It was cyborgs.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you said that's the Borg, and I was just like, huh?
No. What's a Borg?
Oh, they're the
You have to remember, Noah, I'm old.
they're the alien species from Star Trek that like to assimilate everybody.
Oh, I see. I thought,
What Bonita said, there was a woman on Cam's show whose dad saw that acorn-shaped UFO, Bigfoot pilot.
Bigfoot pilot.
Interessante. Because I've heard that aliens, there's a direct correlation between aliens and Bigfoot, right?
There are a lot of things that involve both.
There's a lot of sightings of both of them in the same area. So I mean, like, I don't know if it may just be correlation, not causation, but I mean, like,
or they're studying them too.
Yeah.
Bigfoot don't like being probed, though. I'm telling you right now.
Who does?
Oh,
well, Carrie might.
I can name a few.
Gary's just raising his hand.
What? This is no judgment zone, isn't it? I mean, I'm just saying.
Borg, not to be confused.
Honey, you can
with
be
the
whatever you
Swedish-
want to be. We won't say a word.
Yeah, it wasn't the Borg. It was the Bork. It was the Swedish chef and his alien race showing up.
Vert to Fert. Vert to Fert. Yeah.
My.
Oh man,
We digress.
come for our Swedish meatballs.
Stay for the bourbon.
Stayed for the bourbon, exactly. Yeah.
my favorite alien is Alf.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I like that
Hold
one.
on, Sal.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
We should worry when Carrie disappears off camera to get something.
This is hold on and frantic whisper. Oh Lord. Get a little
That's
stuffed
funny.
I
Alf.
love him.
No.
Hi, Elf. How's it going, buddy?
Just looking for kitties.
Yeah.
Ah!
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I've
Good
had that
reason
since
to
the-
have him as your favorite alien.
since the 80s.
That being said, though, favorite alien movie. What's everybody got? Signs is up there for me, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite necessarily. District 9 is also really far up there.
Well,
I've always
I
liked
liked Independence Day, but
Day.
it did teach us that even officers marry strippers.
I think the thing about Independence Day is it is actually a direct ripoff of War of the Worlds. I mean, from beginning to end, it's just they just rewrote the script.
I don't know.
but hear
the
me out.
president's
Will
speech at
Smith.
the end of that movie, that one still gets me every time.
Yeah.
But also Will Smith. That's all I got.
Will Smith.
I kind of like Battle Los Angeles. I don't know.
That was a good
Yeah,
one.
I liked
I
that
haven't
one.
seen all of that one yet. I need to watch it again.
Battle Los
because
Angeles is a really good movie.
Yeah.
I missed like the last like 45 minutes of it. So
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Aaron Eckhart does a really good rifle to pistol transition. So I was
Mhm.
like, he had a good
He's
technical advisor.
He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah.
I
like
have so when I was a little kid, my sister would turn on scary movies and she'd lay on the couch and I'd squish down behind her on the couch and I would watch the movies over her shoulder like this. And every now and then I'd do this. And from before I can remember, War of the Worlds would come on and I would watch right up until those three guys came out with their little flag and did this. And then they got zapped and I would hands over my eyes and I'd never watch another minute of it. And I'm proud to say that recently I got all the way through War of the Worlds, the 1950s version, without covering my eyes.
I've never
Most
seen that
movies Most movies have no effect on me whatsoever. That one's really corny, but there's a mental scar from childhood about that movie. It took me until I was in probably my 40s before I finally was able to watch the movie all the way through without covering my eyes at least once. So, and I own it. I'll pop it in when I'm home alone just to,
little stress inoculation. Yeah. Papa Bear, brother. I don't really like the silver bullet, man, but I've given plenty of silver bullets to my troops. So yeah, you don't drink water, Doc's gonna give you the silver bullet, brother.
Hey, that was the best thing in the Army is knowing a medic to get you hydrated before formation on Monday.
Yeah. Oh heck yeah. Feel like $1 million. Go run PT like the best of them.
I need some fluids, brother. I'm still drunk.
Yeah, you run PT like a champ. How are you doing so well? I had 2 bags of fluid and high flow O2 and some vitamin B. Great.
I feel like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Screw a hangover.
So do we constitute The Thing as an alien movie?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my chat, they're saying that The Thing is
the Kurt Russell version is my favorite.
Same, Naoma. Same.
The 1950s, The Thing from Outer Space, which is the original, I'm not a big fan of, although I do love James Arness, and he played the monster in that. But I love the Kurt Russell version of that, and I just recently found out that they remade it about 10 years ago. I didn't even know that.
I was about to say, I swear to God, if somebody says Man of Steel is their favorite alien movie, I'm gonna slap somebody.
The movie made in late 80s, The Abyss. That was an alien film.
Yeah,
although you didn't know it until the very end.
Yeah, that was
a very good movie.
But it brings up the USO thing, even back then. So, I mean, there was even some stuff down off the coast of Pensacola Beach, Florida. Some footage a fisherman had. He was just fishing off the beach and saw these lights and these orange lights, and all of a sudden, whoop, they went down in the water and gone. So weird stuff.
Well, there was an account, a UFO report that came out of Alaska, where a fisherman who was just off the coast of Alaska said that out of deep water, more than 100 alien craft emerged and just shot straight up into the sky.
Wow, that would be cool to see on film.
Dude, yeah, Transformers, favorite alien movie. I mean, it would classify, wouldn't it?
Megan Fox.
Overrated.
Very.
There he is.
Oh, you made it. Evening, sir.
You actually just joined us. I'm about to head out.
Yeah.
I was trying to jump in. Your dad was ignoring me.
No, I've got like 25 tabs open where I'm trying to look at all kinds of different things. I just didn't see you.
What other alien movies are there? Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh,
great
God.
movie.
I finally watched that.
That was a really good movie.
Come on.
Not to say the cliche, but you've got aliens themselves.
Aliens was a good movie.
Aliens was pretty good, yeah.
The first one, Alien, Dune? The first one was the best.
Yeah.
Dune was an alien movie, wasn't it?
We're forgetting about Mars Attacks, y'all. Come on.
Oh, God.
Oh, well, if we're going to go down that road, then by far and away, Spaceballs is the best.
10 Cloverfield Lane was pretty good.
Yeah, that was good.
That was actually, I really liked that one.
That was really good. Fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking about UFOs and favorite movies, General Dalton.
Yeah, I was listening in. You were talking about your liquor though earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped by my local liquor store here in Virginia. The state's got a monopoly on it for hard liquor, and they got their little quarterly newsletter up at the front counter. So I picked it up and was reading it. They just opened a facility that's 3,500 distribution center with a capacity to upgrade to almost 400,000 square feet.
Jesus.
Wow.
And coming in spring or summer in Virginia, you can go onto the ABC store website, order your liquor, and have it shipped to your house.
That's a lot of hooch right there.
All right. I hate to bail out, but I need to get going. So
Okay.
you guys have a good night. I'll catch you guys later.
All right,
It's
nice
good to
meeting
see you
Noah.
again.
Folks, that's
nice
my
meeting you
son,
guys.
Noah. He's a Twitch streamer. You can check him out on Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Jorgamunder. We'll check him out playing video games and all kinds of craziness.
I can slap the link in the private chat if you want to post it.
Yeah, send me the link and I will post it in the general chat.
There you go.
Thanks, bud.
I'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.
Have a good one, man.
Hey, buddy.
Later.
What does I show up and everybody starts running away?
I'm
I was
surprised he hung
actually-
around that long.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like, no, because I was just getting ready to say, I don't know if I can handle this anymore. I'm having a hard time sitting up.
Well, you need to go,
Sorry.
Naomi. You go right ahead. We know you're not feeling
Yeah,
well.
I am sorry, guys.
You are perfectly fine. I think the three of us, between the three of us, we can be idiots enough to handle it.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Oh, no, last
We love you too, Naoma.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
feel better.
too.
Feel better
I
soon.
will. Well,
If if you
anybody
feel like
that's out
jumping in
there,
on Saturday, you are always welcome.
I told my husband last week, I said, they're talking about comic books on DA's show tonight. I think, was that last Saturday?
It was last Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
I do
And,
want to get those guys back on, though.
and he was, and I was like laying across the bed and I was feeling really crappy. And he's looking at me and he's like, yeah, but the new Beatles documentary is part 3.
Well, tell him to go back and watch that episode.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. he did.
Johnny Johnson, one of the artists for Equinox Comics,
Ooh.
while we were on the air, was just sitting there sketching, and he sketched this beautiful character, a beautiful sketch of a character from one of their comic books, and gave it away on the live show. And it was Sal
Cool.
Passos that won it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Really
Yeah, you
awesome
gotta-
drawing.
You got to put me in contact with him, DA. I want to talk with him about some
Yeah,
stuff I want to do.
Absolutely. I meant to do that after the show the other day, and it completely slipped my mind.
No worries, brother. No worries.
Oh, well, anyway, guys, you have a great night. And anybody out there who says prayers, please keep my health in mind.
Yeah, you
Definitely
feel better, heal well. We'll be praying for you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Good night, Neil.
night.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, anytime. She's awesome.
Bless her heart. She didn't feel well at all.
No, definitely not. I asked her before we even started. I'm like, you sure you feel like you're up to this?
she looked like she was propped up in a broom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching trains go by says, well, if you need something picked out of your teeth, ask Dalton. He might have one clean finger.
Come here.
I was eating.
Come here. I'm trying to get Angela to come in here and say hey to everybody. Come here, Chicken Little. They ain't gonna bite.
Well, not much. I've had my
No.
shots.
Just a little bit. Yeah. DA said he's had his shots.
I do, I think.
I want to introduce y'all. If y'all read any of DA's books, you've seen him talk about Angie, and this is my much better half. Come on over here.
I can't see.
You gotta get over here.
Ah,
Hey, Angie.
is that better? Hello.
The one that puts up with me.
I always said that, when I finally die, they're going to put my wife up for sainthood for putting up with me for all these years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she just showed me she got a thrift store find. What is it? What's it called again?
The birthing chair.
Shut the front door.
I knew it was something.
She got this thing called a birthing chair.
I thought it was a stool.
She thought it was a stool to change your shoes on, but apparently
It's a birthing chair.
it's to birth youngins. Who knew? She got it for $15 and she saw somebody selling one for $260.
I don't know nothing about birthing no babies.
I don't know nothing about birthing no babies.
Flip
Love
the
you too.
joker. I flipped that joker 15 for 200. Yeah, I'm flipping.
Yeah, I know,
We go-
man. I was like,
Go get stuff.
Northwoods, thanks for joining us, man. Hope
Northwoods,
you have a
night,
good day
man.
at work. Thanks for coming in, man.
Well, thank you, Miss Lanita. I appreciate that. She puts up with me. Yeah, this Saturday is about to be her big 2-9 again. I don't know if I should. She's out of the room. Yeah, she's out of the room. So she's going to be 50 this Saturday.
Okay.
Well, she doesn't look 50.
No, she does not. No, she does not.
It's okay. You getting 50 black balloons for the house?
Dude, she would murder me. She would murder me. No, I got her some nice stuff. We're going to go downtown Colorado Springs, spend the night down there in a hotel, go out, eat a nice steak dinner, go listen to some Irish music at a pub. And then,
that sounds good.
Yeah, it's going to be a good night. It'll be a good night.
Now,
so
she likes stabby things. What you do is you put black confetti in those black balloons, so as she's stabbing it, she's making a hell of a mess.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I don't know how that will work with an OCD person either. It'd probably backfire on me.
like a turd in a punch bowl.
Like a fart in church, man. Like a fart in church. Oh, Lord have mercy.
We'll comment on your Nightbot for a second, DA.
What's the Nightbot doing?
P.O. Box listed.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody out there listening still to the Three Stooges, if you want to keep DA's word count up, Black Rifle Coffee has their coffee I want to get free, and DA likes the tax squatch blend.
I'm a diehard coffee drinker, that's for sure. Hey, I got a new knife from Scallywag.
Oh, right.
Thought I would actually just unbox it on the air. Comes in a neat little box. This one is called the Jolly Roger. And
Yar.
Yeah, Yar. It is
it
is a great little knife. Hang on. I got clicking on the wrong window there. But
oh, daddy likey.
And the beauty of it is right now it's on sale on Scallywag. They're having a big sale on Scallywag Tactical. If you want a damn good pocket knife, this one is $32. And it's down from 45.
Dude. And Craig and his crew at Scallywag make some fantastic cutlery, man. Y'all need to go check them out. Craig Burhart at Scallywag Tactical. Can't say enough good things about him as a person and the outfit he runs and his product.
Yeah, these knives are high quality, just absolute beautiful knives, and they arrive sharp as hell.
Yes,
I will definitely attest to that.
Yeah, and if you cut yourself severely, you can always use a med kit from darkangelmedical.com.
That's right. Great segue. In fact, we'll play the commercial from our sponsor. Here's a word from a stranger I haven't seen in a while. Kerry, maybe you might recognize this guy.
I don't know.
He's pretty weird looking dude.
Good looking.
Everybody, this is Kerry Pocket Doc Davis from Dark Angel Medical, and you are listening to DA Ex Machina with DA Roberts. You may recognize me or some of my products from Dark Angel Medical in some of the Apex Predator, Lakeview Man, and Wild Hunt books, and you can get those products at www.darkangelmedical.com, along with training classes on how to use those products and save a life. Shoot us an email at info@darkangelmedical.com and be the difference.
He's kind of funny looking, ain't he?
He's a little odd.
He's an odd looking feller.
Like, I want to talk to y'all about these here med kits. They're finer than mustard on biscuits.
We're going to put some mustard on it.
I've got my...
The kit just comes with a little bottle of mustard and some gauze.
And a French fry.
And a French fry. Like French them French fried potatoes.
Yeah. Josh, when'd you order that kit?
Friday or Saturday one last week.
Okay. Let me see here. It might have already shipped, man. We've been cranking them things out.
I know I got an email today saying a shipping label had been created. I don't know whether it actually hit the post office yet or not.
Yeah, it has. I'll get you that other stuff in a separate package, man. I'll get you squared away, brother. Yeah, Canon is too efficient. My GM is a very efficient person, so me and him been cranking orders out left and right.
I forgot to mention the discount code.
Folks,
Folks, if you want to order anything from Dark Angel Medical, make sure you let this strange fellow over here let him know that we sent you, and use go to darkangelmedical.com and use the discount code cryptid25 for 25% off for all of our viewers here on this show. So go to Dark Angel Medical, use discount code at checkout cryptid25 on any of the items in stock.
And we're not going to be offering a 25% off code any longer after the first of the year, except to y'all and a couple of select others. So y'all will be able to get it in from here on out. I'm not taking that code off because I'm in charge of those. Lanita, I am curious. She said, DA and Naoma have seen my picture of her and her husband. I have not. I'm curious. So
it's somewhere on my hard drive. I'd have to go digging.
I'm curious. I'll be right back. Y'all continue the UFO discussion. I'm going to put some more ice because my bourbon needs it. I'll be right back.
Your bourbon's getting warm. So, you had any UFO sightings in your neck of the woods, Josh?
Couldn't. Yeah, all I do is eat. I'm either work during the day, work at night, or work during the day. UFOs don't find me. I just find beer.
Well, there have been a lot of UFO sightings all over the U.S., especially in recent weeks. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff reported in the news. Hell, there was one seen over here in Springfield just a few weeks ago, and now the Navy's declassifying more and more footage. More cockpit footage is coming forward all the time. And again, like I was saying earlier, it leads me to believe they're building to something. Like there's going to be a big announcement that they're going to just suddenly go, "Oh yeah, they exist, and we're going to be." They're not friendly.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, and here's something else too, DA, on this. You know, have they been hesitant to say anything to prevent mass panic, or are they now saying, "Hey, there's too much evidence out there because there's too many people with these things out there that are getting footage, and it's like I said earlier, it's irrefutable." And now they're going to be like, "Okay, we give." These things exist, but some of these critters that we are seeing are not the kindest things in the world. They're not like freaking ET. You know, they're more like, hey, we want to kill you and take over your planet, or we just want to kill you, whatever. But I mean, would that?
I think we're good with mustard.
Yeah, exactly. You know, would that lend to mass hysteria? You know, as if our world isn't crazy enough as it is. You know, I think that might be the reason they've kept so hush hush on this stuff.
I think that's the reason the government doesn't tell us about a lot of things, cryptids included, because you know it's going to cause a mass hysteria. I mean, people are going to freak out. There's some people that just aren't ready to accept it. I mean, I've for years I've just accepted the fact that we can't possibly be alone in the universe. No. The universe is far too vast for us to be the only intelligent life in it. It's just mathematically impossible.
That would be an incredibly arrogant thing for us to even think as human beings, you know?
So, DA, what you're saying is they're going with the frog method, if you're familiar with that one.
No, I'm not. What's the frog method?
You put a frog in a pot of boiling water, he hops out. If you put a frog in a pot of cold water, then turn the boiler up gradually, he'll cook himself.
Yeah, you're not wrong. If they release just a little bit at a time and build people up, you know, it's not going to be that, you know, one day you just rip the bandage off and go, "Hey, aliens are here." You know, there won't be as much people freaking out. But if they gradually release more and more over time, more people are going to go, "It's just more."
Yeah, because you're continually desensitizing people to the point where it's not such a shock. I mean, with all the BS we've gone through in the last couple of years, people are like, "Okay, aliens, big deal." You know, what else? And like, you know, Dwayne just said something about the over in the Mojave, and then Hooter Transport said something above him too. But yeah, I mean, that's Mojave, man. That's been a hotbed for activity. Any of the desert regions in the United States seem to have been hotbeds for alien activity. Could that have something to do with the energy vortices out there too? Because if you look in those areas, and I'm getting all mystical and everything now, but there's a lot of energy vortices in these areas too, if you look at it. So,
well, another thing, and this is no offense to anybody that grew up in a big city, but I lived down in New Mexico for about 8 years, and I'm telling you, you go out into the desert at night, there is just so much sky that you won't see in a city. You just don't realize how much of the night sky you can see in the desert. It's amazing. It's humbling too. I mean, you can lay on your back, and if you're not looking to either side, it almost feels like you're just floating away.
Yeah. You forget where the earth ends and sky begins.
Have you ever heard of the SWAG acronym, Doug? Ask guess.
A scientific
pretty
wild
much.
ass guess. Yeah. We use the TLAR method in medicine. Yeah. That looks about right. Let's do that. Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know.
I've got a joke for you.
Uh-oh. Let's not get me canceled by YouTube, but go ahead.
All shredded ham.
What?
What do you call shredded ham?
I don't know.
A Porky Pig jigsaw puzzle.
Porky Pig statue from IKEA.
That's horrible. That's horrible. I love it. Yeah, I like what Hooter Transport said, about, the government, doing something. Are the aliens wanting a one world government? At this point, man, I wouldn't be surprised if I'd be like Clark Griswold in The Christmas Vacation. If I woke up tomorrow morning with my head sawn down the carpet, I wouldn't, my hair sawn the carpet, I would not be surprised. I mean, nothing really surprises me anymore.
Got a point.
Yeah.
Well, at least Carrie's in one of the good bastions of the country. Or nuclear.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we got nuclear silos all around us. So, yay.
Cheyenne Cheyenne Mountain and all that, Carrie?
Well, I mean, Cheyenne Mountain, they don't have any nukes there as far as I know. Cheyenne Mountain, I'm maybe 35-minute drive from Cheyenne Mountain, but Cheyenne, Wyoming, where F.E. Warren Air Force Base is, they have ICBMs up there. That's roughly,
a bunch up by Minot, North Dakota.
Yeah, F.E. Warren is probably about 2.5 hour drive from here, and then Minot several hours from here. But yeah, it's.
I had a buddy that was stationed at Minot, and he's like, he told me, he said there is no place on this planet worse to get stationed than Minot, North Dakota.
It's where dreams go to die, man. I mean, it smells like stripper glitter and despair up there. It's horrible. Yeah, it's a bad place. All right. What next? What's the next topic, DA? You're driving this wagon.
Uh-oh. Well, then we're going off a cliff, I'm pretty sure.
Unhitch the team. Unhitch the team. Quick. Hit the brake.
Oh.
Dwayne Melton says, always found it odd they have a Navy base in the desert.
That's true.
Really?
Nothing shocks me. But again, going back to military references, the formation of the Space Force should have been a clue that that they were preparing for something.
But isn't it kind of ironic? Well, maybe not ironic. I think it was planned, but that the announcement of Space Force was almost kind of in conjunction with all those declassification of those videos.
Oh
too.
Yeah. They were within months of each other.
There's like they're feeding out little niblets here and there.
Again, a little bit at a time until you get used to it.
That's right, man. Desensitization.
Where's the Space Marines?
Oh my God.
If there's strippers on the moon, the Space Marines are going to find them.
I'd be interested in that. I'm just saying.
Looking for space crayons.
I mean, I saw that, you know, that little joint on Tatooine. You know, just saying.
No, I'm bugs.
Yeah. See, Starship Troopers. If the aliens are like that, that's pretty freaking terrifying. I'm just saying.
Yes, it is.
I mean,
and it makes perfect sense. I mean, if you know, if the dominant species on this planet had been insectoid, what would they have looked like?
Correct.
And Starship Troopers, if you've read the book, it is totally different than the movie. They use the title. That book by Heinlein is one of my favorites.
Okay.
Fantastic book. If you guys ever get a chance to read Starship Troopers by Robert Heinlein, I would highly recommend it. Lenita says, what about OBEs? What's an OBE? I know that acronym.
I'm curious.
What's an OBE?
Obi? I have a friend named Obi. I'm curious to know what that is too. I've never heard that abbreviation. Out of body experience.
Okay.
Like astral projection. Are you talking about astral projection, Lenita?
That's probably it. I mean, or people that had died and then saw themselves and came back, looked down upon themselves. They'll see the doctors working on them. There's been a lot of cases, documented cases of that.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Got a super chat from Patty. Says there are definitely strippers in Mars.
Hell yeah. Make it rain up in here. Now, I mean, let's think about this. Back in the 50s, there was a couple in New Hampshire that there was an alien abduction thing. Remember that?
I remember that case.
And the lady distinctly remembered having an out of body experience. She's like, it was like I was there. I could see them working on me, doing all these experiments, but I wasn't in my body. So, and that's actually, Lenita, around 3 a.m. in the morning. I mean, that's when the veils are thinnest. So that would factor into that between 3 and 4 in the morning, and that's why a lot of people, that have out of body experiences wake up exhausted because they've been doing, astral projection all night long. So that's the real thing. I mean, hey, I lived in Boulder for almost 11 years, so I'm pretty spun up on some of that stuff, but it's, but there's merit to it. There's merit to it. I mean, just because a lot of people say, it never happened to me, doesn't mean it doesn't happen to other people. That'd be kind of a arrogant thing to say.
Oh, absolutely.
You sure want just the reek of weed?
I don't think that was it. That's Carrie's in Colorado. We can't go anywhere without smelling that.
Yep. Well, the devil's lettuce.
It's bad out there, like you're back in the 60s and 70s with chain smokers.
I mean, bad out here is that's a relative thing, man. I mean, I have been in the hospital for many years, and let me tell you what, man. I've never ever, and DA can probably attest to this being in law enforcement. I've never ever fought a stoner, ever.
Yeah, he's not right. Not wrong.
I've fought plenty of drunks, but I have never ever fought a stoner. I mean, a stoner will fight you over a bag of Cheetos, but I've never gotten in a fist fight in the emergency room with a stoner. Gotten a couple of fist fights in the ER with drunks, but no. I mean, most
drunks and people
I know,
that are on some of the harder drugs.
Yeah, pharmaceutically enhanced, I like to call them. Yeah. I mean, weed is a very low grade to me, but I don't care. I know enough stoners out there, and they're all very chill people. They're like, meh.
That's where I was going with that one, Carrie. I meant just the vapor trail they leave.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can definitely see a vapor trail. I mean, I remember one day I was driving down the highway and I could smell a dude sparking up in front of me. I could smell it.
That's not uncommon here in Springfield.
Yeah,
smell it. Sitting at a traffic light, you're sitting at a traffic light, and you're like, I know what somebody in one of these cars is
Yeah.
doing.
Somebody smoking one of them left-handed cigarettes.
This is invariably what happens. I'll be sitting in
Yeah.
traffic with the window down. I'll be like, and then I'll look over at my wife and she'll go, "You're not a cop anymore. Knock it off."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Hooter Transport
Like,
brings
but
up a
I
good
smell
point
it.
too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of wrong way driver accidents since marijuana's been legalized. Yeah, same in Colorado, man. I mean, there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more impaired drivers out there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
most
the
of the
problem
time,
with that is it's very difficult to gauge level of impairment with marijuana.
yeah, it's you know, you got a quantitative test, but not a qualitative test. You know,
Right.
at what level are they impaired? So,
Well, technically, by DUI standards, it doesn't have to be much.
mm-mm, mm-mm.
If they cross the dotted line or the solid line more than like 3
Yeah.
times, you can get them a DUI.
Yeah, that's suspicion right there. Yeah, that's probable cause. And you know, and the thing is, the weed nowadays is way more. I know we're getting way off the UFO thing, but I think it's important that the weed nowadays is way more concentrated because it's been genetically modified. The ditch weed that kids smoked when I was in high school was like 3% THC. You're talking stuff now that's 43% THC. You know, it's like, you know, buck cherry. That's like a one-hit wonder right there. You know what I mean? And so you can one hit and you're freaking orbiting. Cannabis. Yeah, that's what they call it over in the UK too. It's hilarious. It's cannabis. So
Sorry, I didn't mean to throw this down the rabbit hole, DA. I was just asking people sniff test.
If one thing we're notorious for on this show is finding rabbit holes to run down.
Yeah, I prefer bourbon, man. That's my thing. I like bourbon.
Because I was going with was just simple fact they've legalized it here in Virginia. In the last several months, working at the store, it's like coming around the corner.
Yeah.
We know what parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, you know, that could be some people with their aliens, other UFO sightings. Are you high? I don't know. Are they? Who knows? But there's a lot of irrefutable evidence out there based on video evidence, and like Doug was saying earlier, I think it's just a part of feeding out this information, kind of playing out the line just a little bit. Because what do you do before you get that fish to set that hook? You know,
give it a little line, let it run.
You play that line a little bit, let it run, and when it starts running, that's when you set that hook. You know, so there's my country boyism right there. So
right there,
it is. I think there's a lot to be said about the whole doling out of information in incremental doses.
And when you look at all these little seemingly unrelated events, and you look at that as a much broader picture as opposed to looking at them individually, you're seeing large scale sightings of UFO lights over major cities all over the world.
Yeah.
We had the USS Connecticut running into something submerged that the Navy claimed was a mountain. But I seem to remember we fought a big war in that ocean back in the 1940s and had submarines running all over that son of a gun. So I'm pretty sure our sonar records of the ocean's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, because they got maps of all the obstacles out there already. You know, it's like aerial charts. They have nautical charts.
Well, the SOSUS network would have mapped it.
Yeah, and I was like, when I heard that news report, I was like, how in the name of Zeus's butthole does one of these submarines run into a freaking mountain? I mean,
it's a Chinese stealth mountain.
Yeah, I was like, what in the hell's going on, man?
Those don't move often. I mean, the last time I checked it, it'd just get up and move to another part of the map.
Well, with
an $8 or $10 billion boat, I'm pretty sure they've got active sonar.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
She's got those should have the best the Navy has to offer since they're the tippy tip of the damn spear.
And then you look at the recall. As soon as it limped into port, every Seawolf was pulled into port. And they were all given new equipment under very, very mysterious circumstances and all put back to sea at about the same time. It seemed to me that the Navy was preparing for something.
Yes, 100%.
I can't hear you,
you broke
Josh.
up.
You broke it up pretty bad.
I thought I thought that was a whole subfleet.
It was.
Yeah, it was the whole subfleet, but the Seawolves all got new equipment. I don't know whether it was specialized torpedoes. I don't know what it was, but every Seawolf was pulled back to port, and they all got new equipment.
Yeah, that was a panic move. That was a pardon my French, that was an oh shit reaction to that whole situation, because they're like, what just happened? You know, and
I don't buy for a second they hit a mountain.
No, that's like Roswell's a freaking weather balloon, right? Like Biden's a freaking Catholic, whatever. Anyway, it's one of those things where I'm sitting there going, dude, these are the most advanced submarines known to man with the most advanced technology that we have available. You ain't going to hit a freaking mountain. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, you can pee down my back and tell me it's raining, and I'll believe that a whole lot more than I believe that.
Yeah, like I said, there were submarines all over the South China Sea during World War II. Hunter packs going looking for Japanese subs.
Yeah.
They were banging away with active sonar. Surface ships were banging away with active sonar. They mapped everything in that area. There is no way they hit a previously undiscovered mountain.
Yeah, they know every underwater mountain, crevice, trench, whatever out there.
It'd be like Carrie walking through the Rocky Mountains and going, holy shit, where'd that mountain come from?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
pretty sure it was already there, buddy.
Yeah, man, that was some good weed.
You were right on something if you missed a mountain.
It's been a hot button topic for the last decade at least. So shit's being mapped every damn patrol they go out through that area.
Yeah,
exactly.
And constantly updated.
Now, even with geothermal events, even with the underwater eruptions causing some new structures, things like that. I'm sorry, man. You're still not going to create one big enough for a sub, one of those. What did you say, Seawolf class?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Running active sonar along with all the other avoidance features that it has, collision avoidance features it has, to run into something. Come on, man. I ain't buying what they're selling. There was something bigger than that.
Hey, you guys want to run down the rabbit hole real deep? We'll
do it.
Get your tinfoil hats out, folks. This image was captured by Google Earth off Malibu, California. Tell me that's not made. That's not a created underwater something. Those are columns. And the big thing with groups like MUFON, they think that may possibly be an underwater alien base, because we know we can't build stuff like that. But you can look at that; those are regularly spaced columns, and this thing, there's no scale on this, but this is huge. From the descriptions that have been talked about on television, this is massive, big enough for multiple craft to enter. And that was captured by Google Earth, just off of Malibu, California.
Yeah.
You may put that back up, Kerry?
Yeah, put that up one more time.
Okay.
Yeah, all those columns off the right, man. That's just not like underwater current erosion.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that was constructed.
Look at all the columns off the left. I mean, it's like it was just sunk right down the middle of the shelf,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was captured in 2017 by Google Maps, by Google Earth. And immediately as soon as it was spotted, the UFO theorists went crazy, because there's been a lot of UFO and USO sightings in that area. Sightings of UFOs actually entering the water.
I mean, I'm gonna look that one up for Destin, or from Pensacola Beach, and see what about that one. And said, I wonder if there's anything down there as well, because wouldn't it? I mean, I think it would be safe to assume, if they're going to have bases of operations, wouldn't they have them operating at pretty much every coastline throughout the world?
You would think.
So it was in Gulf Breeze. It was in 2019. So it was in Gulf Breeze, Florida, right close to Pensacola, things like that. So and this was as early or as late as May 18th, 2021. More than a dozen reports from Northwest Florida along the Panhandle this past year have been recorded by the nonprofit by MUFON, talking about UFO reports in the Pensacola area. So, I mean, just as late as the May of this year. So, and they said that they're taking those reports. The U.S. government has been ramping up its attention towards unidentified flying objects and taking these reports seriously. I mean, come on, man. There's more to it. You know what I mean? There's more to it. There's too much evidence out there, and for us to say anything otherwise, that's just arrogant and naive.
Well, here's another image that was captured by satellite just off the coast of California.
Holy crap, dude!
Oh, like an air base, don't it, Gary?
Yeah. Looks like an underwater air. Looks like active taxiways, runway. Mm-hmm. Holy crap, that's insane!
And tell me that naturally appeared.
Yeah, that naturally appeared like Cher has had no plastic surgery.
Yeah, and this was also picked up by Google Earth.
Holy crap, man! That's insane. When was that?
This one was caught in 2016.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more of that is out there that again,
we
people don't know, that we haven't found again?
In order to be able to see it with Google Earth, the water's got to be shallow enough to actually see the bottom from orbit. Most of the ocean is not that shallow.
Yeah. And you ask people, hey, is that a man-made structure? And people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not man-made. And I think it would definitely be something that I would guarantee you dollars to donuts that we would find stuff like that on every freaking coast. Yeah, Mark, you're exactly right. Because my wife's, the good-looking blonde that was just in here earlier, a lot of her family's in Pensacola. And they've talked about seeing weird stuff out there while they're fishing or camping on some of the islands right off the coast. So, weird stuff. So the last ice age, California coast was 300 to 500 feet lower, but still, last ice age,
it's massive.
Yeah, that's ice age, man. I mean, those are.
Yeah, we definitely didn't have the technology to build something that looks like a modern air base.
Yeah, those are straight.
Lanita says, didn't divers explore that? I mean, talking about that first image, I watched a documentary on it, and when they were going to try to map it with a towed sonar array, and the Coast Guard ran them off.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, I told them it was a restricted area and they needed to move out of the area.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Right.
Well, circling back around to what Carrie said earlier. So are they still feeding this line, or they done set the hook and now we're in a marlin fight?
I think they're still feeding this line.
Yeah, I think we're still running with a hook in our mouth, man.
Yeah. I don't think that they've set everything in motion. It's going to be the first time something happens in orbit that everybody sees, like a big light show in space, that they're going to go, okay, this is what the Space Force was for. We just prevented something from landing.
Well, I mean, hell, hadn't the ISS caught a lot of stuff over the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah. The International Space Station has caught all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. So,
and there have been times when the International Space Station, because you can go to NASA's website and look at the feed. There are times when they'll just take the feed offline for several hours and then comes back up.
Yeah, because there was one where one of the astronauts was like, dude, what is that? And you can see something out there in the distance. And I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It ain't man-made, that's for damn sure.
I would agree. Lenny says we're lucky aliens haven't taken over. Maybe they have.
That is correct. That is correct. Now they're just waiting for us to do ourselves in, Lanita, and then they'll take us over when we're totally 100% divided. But what do I know? That's none of my business.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I've got another angle on that underwater structure. This one kind of gives you an idea of the size of it.
Which one is this? Off California?
Yep.
Holy crap, man.
Yeah, it ain't tiny.
That thing is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, man. Look at the size of his cranium. It's like a veritable Sputnik.
Heed, dude.
It's like an orange in a tooth pack. Jesus, Joseph and the bride. What are you doing? No, that's
whatever that is, it's huge.
That's big, man. That's really big. And like Mr. Napier said, about the Pensacola, I guarantee you there's something similar to that out there in the Gulf of Mexico. 100%. I would not be surprised at all. What about the Eastern Seaboard? What's been seen off the Eastern Seaboard, man?
Pretty much the same thing, but I've never heard of any structures like this spotted in the water. I'm going to bring another one of those up real fast. I just uploaded another one. Oh, that's not it. I grabbed the wrong one.
My cousin lives up in Wilmington, North Carolina, and she says she's seen stuff out there off the water.
This one gives you a little bit better idea. The top is about 250 feet below the surface. It's about 5 miles off the coast of California, and the area where those hollows between the columns, so the area is about 1,800 feet below the surface. So you're not going to get a diver down there.
Damn. And they ain't going to let any unmanned subs go down there either, because the Coast Guard will be shooing them off.
Mm-hmm.
That's massive, dude.
It is.
I mean,
it would be big enough.
That thing.
From the looks of it, it would be big enough for one of our subs to go in.
Yeah, the scale of that thing is absolutely mind-boggling.
That's what when you said is like undersea sub pin.
Yeah, it does look like a sub pin.
Sorry, Mark. That's my Southern kicking in, man. I'm trying to be polite. Mark, it is. You can just call me Carrie or Doc, or just call me for when it's supper. Oh, dude, I'll show you something. Check that out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Did you get those made, or are those available?
No, those were a gift. A buddy of mine had those made for me. He had me a decanter made and 4 glasses made. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Isn't that pretty sweet? That was a gift. I like that. What's up, Josh?
I was gonna say, is it the Southerner kicking in, or the Southern Comfort?
Ooh. Hush. Wash your mouth out with soap, man.
That's right.
No, I try to be polite to folks. Like Lanita, I call her Miss Lanita, but where are you from, Mark?
He's from Kentucky.
Kentucky, okay. Bourbonville.
Did you hear me, Carrie?
What'd you say?
I said if I got to wash my mouth, I prefer Bushmills.
There you go. Bushmills Black.
Hell yeah.
That is my brother Keith had that. Yeah, my brother Keith had that last time I was down in Gulfport, and that is a delicious malt. That's for sure. Gonna go see them after Christmas for New Year's. That'll be a good time. You got any more pictures, DA? I'm intrigued by those, man. That's
I do. Impressive. I've got one I'm getting ready to put up right now. This one is not so much like an alien base or anything like that. It's more of a, did aliens do this? If you notice the picture of this, you're going to see like pictograms and stuff on it. So you'll know how old this rock has been around. This is in Saudi Arabia. This rock looks like it's been cut in half by a laser.
Damn.
And they believe it was thousands of years old.
Yeah, they ain't no man doing that. That's crazy. I mean, if you want to get back to that, look at the stones in over in Peru on some of the structures there. You can't get a piece of paper between them. Same thing with the Great Pyramid. Mm-hmm. I've ridden a camel by the Great Pyramid, and there are some stones there. They say you cannot get a piece of paper in between.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I think those may have been navigational waypoints.
Could have been
for those cats back then. Who knows?
This has a little more information on it. It's called the Al Nazla Rock in Saudi Arabia. Looks like it's been cut in half with a laser, and it's estimated to be roughly 4,000 years old. No one knows how it got that way.
That's pretty amazing. Wow.
I think this planet has been visited many times by aliens, long before we were, had any type of advanced civilization. And in a lot of cases, I think they were here either watching us or guiding us. But I'm not going to say that every alien that we are going to encounter is going to be friendly. I mean, it's kind of like Star Trek. There's going to be some Klingons somewhere. We're going to wind up fighting somebody.
Well, I mean, it's just like anything. Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's light, there's dark. Oh, I remember the guy's name now. Eric von Daniken. Eric von Daniken. Chariots of the Gods is the book that he wrote, and it's talking about the ancient aliens that came and visited us thousands of years ago. But you're right, man. I believe that, like you said, there's going to be a Klingon in there. There's going to be a jackwagon in the wood pile somewhere that's going to try to do things for their own purposes or for bad. Where there might be races of aliens that come in to help us out and lend us their technology, or maybe they recognize, hey, you humans are too selfish and self-absorbed and hell bent on destruction. So we're not going to give you this technology. We'll give you this technology. So, yeah, a lot of Scots heritage here. Yeah, Mark. Yeah, our folks came over to North Carolina from Scotland and Wales and settled there, and Ireland.
Well, back to what they were saying about the Seawolf. About the USS Connecticut. I'm going to show you guys a picture real quick. This was a picture that was taken above the sub when it was in a sub pin, and it kind of gives you a little bit of cause for alarm. Specifically, look at the bow of the sub. You notice at the very tip of that picture, you can still see part of the bow, but the damage is behind the bow. It's almost like something hit it, not the other way around. If they'd ran into something, the entire bow of the boat would be crushed, especially if they ran into a mountain at speed. But the damage is just behind the bow. How did that happen?
So the bow is going to be on south, pointing south at the bottom of the picture. Yeah.
No, bow's at the north end.
North end. Well, okay. I couldn't tell if that was where the fins were on the back end for the propulsion system. I'm just looking at it.
I could be wrong. Maybe the bow is at the back. The bow is at the top, bottom. I mean, but
yeah, the bottom. The top is the propulsion. It's in a shroud.
Yeah.
So there's a sail. There's the sail down there on the bottom, and then that's okay. So you think a USO impacted it?
Yeah, I think it was struck. I don't think it struck something.
I mean, because let's think about this: had that been a defensive action or an offensive action by a USO, that sub would be at the bottom of the ocean. Let's be honest about that.
And that's a very deep section of the ocean. That would not be a situation like Gray Lady Down, where they sent the DSRV to rescue the downed sailors. No, she'd have went beyond crush depth.
Wow, that's scary.
There's some deep water out there.
Yeah, it is.
Which leads me exactly to believe there ain't no mystery stealth mountains out there.
No.
I think they were traveling or trying to evade something, and it hit them.
Yeah, because those things can kick up pretty good. I mean, I don't know, what, like 30, 40 knots, something like that.
Probably. I mean, when they're flat out running.
Yeah. And Lanita said something that was pretty interesting. I've heard aliens walk among us, as have I.
It would not surprise me.
So, like I said, if we think anything that they don't do this or they don't do that, I would think that's a fairly arrogant way to think,
Mhm.
because their technology is far far greater than ours.
Yeah, the whole thing with the Connecticut has just got me stumped. I mean, yeah, I'm with you, Carrie, waving the bullshit flag. As soon as when it happened and they said they struck a previously unknown mountain, I'm like, no, they didn't. There's no way they didn't know there was a mountain there.
I heard that, and I'm like, do they have that dude on that? I can't remember what movie it was, with the big glasses, with the fish bowls, and you get the goldfish swimming in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, nah.
Well, again, like I said, go back to what I said as well. To be a sea wolf, you've got to be the best. It's like Delta Force or SEAL Team 6. That's on par. You're crewing something on that level.
Yeah, the Sea Wolf is the best submersible in the U.S. arsenal, and I would argue probably the best one currently under the waves.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I'm saying. You are you're the cream of the damn crop.
Yeah, that's your first string, man. That's your first string, and something them saying, oh, it ran into a mountain.
Well, when I heard that a U.S. submarine had struck something, I immediately thought about, it was back in the 80s when an Ohio class missile boat struck a whale. I mean, just hit it broadside, didn't know it was there. And they limped back to port, and they had to extract a chunk of whale bone from the hull before they could repair the missile boat. So, I thought when I heard that the Seawolf had hit something, like they hit a whale at depth, but then they said it was a mountain. And the first thing I immediately thought was, did they strike a Chinese boat? Did they run into a Chinese sub? But China said nothing. China has issued no statements, has said nothing about their subs. So that leads me to think, they hit something that they don't want to talk about, because the Chinese would have thrown a shit fit if we struck one of their boats. Carrie, you're quiet again. We lost you, brother. There you go.
How about now? Okay.
We got you.
Yeah, the Chinese would have said that's an act of aggression. That's an act of war. Or even, I was thinking either a Chinese sub or a Russian sub out there, but both of those countries were 100%, quiet. It was like a church mouse.
Dwayne Milton says undersea monster. Funny you should mention that. I went to high school with a guy, and we went to the military. I went to high school with a guy. I won't mention his name because I'm not going to call him out on the air, because I haven't asked his permission. But I went in the Army at the same time he went in the Navy. He became a sonar operator. And he told me a story one time going out of the San Francisco Bay that they had a biological contact that they estimated to be roughly the size of the submarine follow them out of San Francisco Bay, and stayed with them until they went to depth.
Wow.
He said it was following them.
Holy crap. Holy Godzilla.
No kidding.
Man.
It followed them for hours before they dove to maximum depth, and it finally swam off.
That's interesting.
I'm assuming.
I said, do you think it was a whale? He goes, well, if it was a whale, it never went up for air.
I'm assuming as a class, Doug.
Mm-hmm. It was a 688 class Los Angeles. Can't hear you, Josh. You got real quiet.
I didn't. I was just shaking my head.
Okay. John Doe says, I'd suggest looking at Project Blue Book. You can get quite a bunch of those documents nowadays from archives. I'm going to be pulling a lot of those in the near future.
Yeah, I'd be.
John Doe also says the U.S. military has been looking into this for a long time, and they have no idea what it is, which is probably why they haven't made it public. But, not to be a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but it's kind of odd that we're being told about information where we could find it by somebody named John Doe.
John, you don't work for a government agency, do you?
So the government kind of loosely loses credibility if they go, well, actually, we have a bunch of things flying around the U.S. which we can't do anything about, don't know about.
Yeah. No,
good
no
point.
reason. No reason to panic. We just don't know what the hell it is.
And can't stop it.
Yeah, I can't stop it. Don't know how to stop it.
The
We
hard
don't even
part,
know what the hell it is.
they're coming for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes one stop and think. At the end of the day, just how much out there is known
Mm-hmm.
that is unknown by us. And just this is, I think we're seeing the literal tip of the iceberg right now with all of this information coming out over the last couple of years. And it makes you think, okay, so they're doling this out. How much more is not talked about? And like he said, that would, John Doe just said, that would probably cause a lot of panic, which we had addressed earlier. And I 100% concur with that thought. But yeah, back in the 70s, Mark said, everybody said it was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Even the
Because they're
government,
like,
they went out of their way to make you look crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Hell, let's go back to the 40s, to Roswell, man. Let's go to the
yeah.
40s in Roswell. They tamped it down and they pushed it under the rug, and they were like, no, it's a weather balloon. Nothing to see here. Move along.
And for years, if somebody with any credibility came forward, the government went out of their way to like destroy their career, to shut them up, to make them look like an idiot. And now they're like, oh yeah, we've known about these for a long time. Yeah. I bet I would predict, watch the news, be critical of what you see in the news for the next 2 to 5 years, because a lot more of this stuff's going to get revealed.
Yeah, because back then you'd have Agent Lynch and Agent Smith showing up with a neuralizer, in their black suits, saying you didn't see this.
Or someone that sets you down and says, if you ever talk about this again, bad things are going to happen to you and your family.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't doubt that one bit, man. And I think it's one of those things where, it is a lot of this stuff now, like you just said, DA. I mean, it's a lot of the stuff now. Watch that over the next 3 to 5 years, because a lot of the stuff that's happening now that people were saying just 24 months ago, oh, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist. Are you?
And suddenly,
are you really?
So much.
Not so much,
It went from conspiracy theory to current events pretty fast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't, and this falls right along the same track, in the same vein.
Yeah, it's a big slow flying against the wind balloon.
Yeah, exactly, man.
John Doe says nowadays they're very, very much so kind of seeming to be attempting to very slowly begin releasing stuff. Yeah, they're trickling out information a little at a time. I mean, geez, what would we have done Carrie? What would we have done when we were kids if the government started releasing photos like this, cockpit photos?
Yeah, and saying this is something that's not
of Earth.
Not of Earth. Yes, if they says this is something not of Earth, people would have lost their freaking minds, man. They would have lost their minds.
Another thing that concerns me is, when was this made? How long has that been down there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was that something they carved during when we were still, struggling to make fire, or was that done more modern times?
Absolutely.
Or could the construction of this thing have accounted for things like the San Francisco earthquake?
Yeah, I mean, have you read any of J.L. Bourne's books?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Day by Day Armageddon, and J.L. Bourne's a great writer.
Yeah. I mean, I just listened to one of his books coming back from Texas not too long ago, and about the alien craft embedded in ice that was out 20,000 years old or something like that. Who's to say? Who's to say, man?
Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna have to get off here. It's getting late on the East Coast, and I gotta get up in the morning.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thank you for your buying from us.
No, thank you for the codes. Like I said, I'll try and set the hook a little bit more and jiggle it for you, Carrie.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, we got to
have a good night, man.
Out there. You stay safe, man.
Be safe, man.
You too.
Well, here's another picture for you, Carrie. This one freaks me out. This was taken in the Black Sea by divers. It is shallow enough that people can dive down to it. Tell me that's man-made.
Dude, that looks like the freaking Millennium Falcon.
It does kind of.
Yeah.
But there,
Yeah.
look at. So let me pull up one of the other angles of it. This is
That is not
this one.
that's not man-made, bro. I mean,
No,
it's nice.
and that's what the Turkish government tried to say. They're like, oh, it was a man-made obelisk when this was still an inland. It wasn't flooded. I don't think so. Those look like stairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did they build something that big if it was primitive man?
No. I don't buy that.
And apparently, when ships get close to the area where that thing is, they have interference with their onboard systems, like navigation systems.
I said they probably have a lot of EMF interference on board,
which leads me to believe that is not of this earth.
Yeah, I mean, and if they're having problems with navigation, problems communication, I mean, that if that thing is still emitting EF or EMF, then who knows? It could still be active.
Yeah,
or it could be a beacon. Who knows? And yeah, what do I need to say?
John Doe's right. He said they could easily have built something that big. What they couldn't do is the shape.
Exactly.
Lenita says, because they know what it is. Why don't they send a submarine to check it out? Because they know what it is. Yeah, I agree. Well, it's shallow enough. Look at that picture. You can see there's a diver there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a scuba diver.
That's a good scale reference right there to how big that freaking thing is.
Yeah, it's freaking massive.
And the thing is, that could be small. That could be a small scale of what's actually around,
Well, if you can see the person to scale on that, it leads you to wonder exactly how big that is.
Exactly.
How many of those would fit in it?
Because the bottom floor right there, it says, 1,800 feet, and the top of that thing's 250 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 250 feet, that's like 1,550 feet high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's massive. How big's that opening there? That big opening.
It's got to be huge. I mean, if that's 250 feet down and down at the top of it, 1,800 feet at the bottom, how wide is that thing?
Yeah, that's got to be like
hundreds of feet wide. Yeah, 1,000 yards wide.
1,000 yards wide, man. I mean, you're talking almost a mile wide. That's nasty.
Yeah, that would be something that you could put a whole fleet down there, and we would never know it. So I think they've been coming here for a long time, because if there was something of this magnitude being constructed in our lifetimes, we would have noticed.
Yeah, yeah.
And looking at it, the amount of silt and flow around it, it's been there a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Could the construction of that, and how deep does it go? How far back does it go? Could something like that, them hollowing out that much earth, could that have been what caused a lot of the California earthquakes? Because if you're doing that much blasting and rock to get it out, it's going to shake the tectonics.
Yeah, especially on underground that scale.
Yeah, there's an underground storage facility here in Springfield called the Springfield Underground, and they've dynamited out warehouses underground. It's deep in Missouri limestone, and they're still constructing that, and it's pretty far from my house. But when they're detonating in the new areas, when they're digging new areas, we feel it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who's to say those tremors and everything they're feeling along the San Andreas Fault aren't from new construction? Because if they have the stealth technology, that's my thing, to get in undetected, because obviously they've been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm. John Doe says, I would think a big part is that they are scared. And then he goes on to say, now imagine how terrifying it would be to have something you don't even really know the purpose of, built by something you don't understand the origin of, etc. Yeah, dead on. I totally agree.
I mean, who's to say? I mean, I know I'm put my tinfoil hat on. Who's to say they're not building logistical resupply stations or other strategic locations.
Are they
for-
building for a strategic location to attack us, or are
For
we just
future
just a
purposes.
waypoint?
Right. Future purposes, or is it a resupply waypoint, refueling, whatever? Yeah, absolutely, man.
And John Doe says, especially if you're used to being the top dog. Yeah, then I can see why the government, who thought they were basically the masters of the planet, suddenly went, "Oh crap, this is something we can't touch."
Yeah.
Lanita says the documentary says it was natural. That's BS. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a geological expert by any stretch of the words, but tell me that's natural.
I don't like any natural formation.
That's wrong
It
one.
looks unnatural.
Where on anywhere on Earth do straight lines appear natural?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I
The
mean, who's to
implications
say
of that are just terrifying.
on the straight line thing? Who's to say at one point? I mean, that's submerged now. I mean, that could be. I mean, thousands and thousands of years ago, that could have been above water. But who's to say at that point it wasn't some sort of forward operating base? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, since the last period of glaciation, I don't know. I honestly don't know how much the ocean level has changed. I know it's gone up a lot, but I don't know how much. I wouldn't think it went up 1,800 feet.
Exactly. And Mark just brings up a good point too. That cavern at this point in time, it would have filled with silt.
Mm-hmm. The tide alone would have filled it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's keeping it open? Oh, I had a series from John Doe. He says, I wouldn't think they have hostile plans, at least not open ones. And then he says, because simply by having access to interstellar travel also means you could drop a dino killer asteroid onto humanity without much issue. He's got a point.
That makes
and
sense.
He says, and it would be as far as a war as would be. It would be, that would be it as far as a war would be. Yeah, if they push Tycho, the asteroid and the asteroid field, our asteroid belt in our solar system, the asteroid Tycho is the size of Texas.
Yeah, that's an Earth killer right there.
Yeah, that's all life on the planet killer.
Yeah.
And it would crack the planet like an egg, and then they could take whatever resources they wanted. So I think you may be onto something. If they wanted us dead, we'd be dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then John Doe says the ocean level has significantly changed as of late by the standards of the Earth.
Yes. I mean, if you look at it, everything's cyclical. It goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. We get hot, we get cold.
Mark says perhaps they want us alive.
Yeah, maybe we're more valuable to them alive than we are dead.
Yeah, who knows? We might be cattle.
Yeah.
There are lots of people that claim they've been abducted, and according to NAMI in the United States alone, over 300,000 people go missing every year. Now, granted, a good chunk of those are somebody that called and said, "Hey, my son's missing," and they file a missing persons report, and then 2 hours later they come home and they call and they came home. Granted, a good chunk of reports are like that, and a lot of missing person reports wind up being that. Just somebody that's late or didn't have an excuse for being gone for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And they report them missing. But there are still thousands upon thousands of missing persons every year that are never found.
Yeah. I mean, look at that movie, Cowboys and Aliens, man.
That was a good movie.
That was a great movie. But I mean, it's truth. Maybe what if we are a food source?
John Doe says, so I believe that any agenda would require Earth intact, humanity relatively untouched.
Yeah, stealth might be their best option,
Yeah. And, here in the last decade or so, we've had a couple of major near misses from large pieces of cometary debris and large asteroids that have gone very close to Earth. How do we know they didn't nudge those just enough out of the way that they wouldn't hit us?
Yeah. There's no, what was that movie, Bruce Willis, Armageddon? No, was that it? I can't remember.
Yeah, Armageddon.
Yeah.
Where they had to go up to the asteroid and blow it in half.
Yeah. I mean, maybe aliens already, come on, man. If they're doing this kind of crap, they already have that technology. That's old hat to them.
Richie Evans says the moon has H3 by the millions of tons. Wow. I didn't know that. John Doe says, in addition, if you wanted resources, the only thing you can get on Earth you couldn't get from the asteroid belt is life. That's very interesting. So that takes us right back to either the zoo theory or the food theory.
Yep.
John Doe says everything else exists in vast quantities elsewhere. He's not wrong.
100%.
You know, I read a long time ago in a Popular Mechanics magazine back when I used to get that as a kid, and they had a lot of theories about going into space and stuff. And one of them was mining the Oort cloud. They said that if we could ever get the technology to mine the Oort cloud, gold would lose its value.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of the
we'd have so many
asteroids.
millions of tons of it.
Look at some of the asteroids and comets, man. I mean, they have more gold, more precious metal in them than we have here on Earth.
Lanita says, I think they're taking advantage of being here without much harassment from us. A good planet for them. You might be onto something.
Yeah.
So that's the food for thought right there. I mean, we've got, no matter what the government wants to say, we've got literally tons of evidence of things that humanity didn't have the technology to do. Right. We've got underwater structures. We've got lights over Phoenix. We've got lights over Mexico City, lights over other major cities all over the country. These are happening, and they're happening right now. And the U.S. Navy is declassifying cockpit footage and saying, yes, our fighter jets tried to catch this thing and they couldn't. The best fighter jets we had couldn't even keep up with it, let alone stop it. And this is happening more and more, and the government is admitting more and more of it is that exists. Again, the next 3 to 5 years, folks, watch the news because they're still playing that line out. And I don't, like him or hate him. I'm not discussing politics. But when Trump created the Space Force, there was a reason.
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet they were planning on doing the Space Force for some time and just never pulled the plug on it. And you notice now that he's out of office, they didn't disband it.
No.
It's still there.
And you think about this too. They're gonna feed that information to you in little surreptitious nuggets, here and there. Nothing's
Cockpit
gonna make
footage here.
Yeah,
sonar contact here.
It's not gonna make the big headlines. It's not gonna be breaking news.
Yeah, it'll be page three
Oh,
stuff.
Yeah, but it's gonna be in there. Just little nudges.
The headlines are still going to be Lindsay Lohan goes into rehab for the 35th time. But somewhere on page 5, U.S. Navy declassifies footage of UFO over California. Yeah,
Fact.
Stuff like that. 100%. And they're just going to play those out a little bit at a time.
Yeah,
until something happens that they can't just dismiss.
Yeah, and John Doe said something about the frog getting boiled. Yeah, John, we made that same analogy earlier about that. The frog's not getting out of the pot, man. The water's getting hotter, but the frog's still staying there.
Richie Evans says the Cabrey Belt has tons of iron and gold. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Napier says government may have been told don't mess with us. We won't hurt you. I've heard something similar about that, but I'll get to that in a second. Let me catch up with some of these comments. John Doe says, the saying about the frog getting boiled? Exactly. Doesn't notice we turn up the heat slowly. Martin Hertel says, I think they're mostly curious. Back in 98, I served in the Navy as a corpsman on a routine patrol from Nimitz up to Bremerton, Washington. We had lights flying around the deck, freaking out the crew. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I did not know anything about that. And that happened. I mean, he says all the sailors that were out where the lights had extreme sunburns. Holy moly.
That's
extreme sunburns or exhaust burns.
Ultraviolet radiation.
A sunburn is really nothing more than your skin absorbing ultraviolet radiation. Yeah,
absolutely.
Lanita says, you're right, Carrie. Nothing on ABC declaring their arrival.
Nah, it won't be.
And Mark says the footage of the Space Force training makes it a joke. I don't believe that crap. Yeah, I would say they're downplaying it for the media, but they're preparing for something.
Why would they create that if they didn't have prior knowledge of something already being there?
Exactly.
You know?
John Doe says, if the government had to choose between turning the eye away from a few dozen abducted humans a year, I agree.
Small price to pay. Collateral damage.
Yeah, collateral damage.
Yeah.
I also read an article one time, and again, this is one of those kind of out there tinfoil hat articles. Take it with a grain of salt. It's not something you can corroborate, but allegedly somebody from NASA admitted to the guy that wrote this article that the reason we never went back to the moon is we were told not to come back.
Ooh, really?
Mm-hmm. That was the article I read. Again, I don't know. I can't say it's true. It's just an interesting article I read. I read all kinds of articles about the paranormal and about aliens and Bigfoot and everything in between. So I'm always looking for weird stuff that really pops up on my radar. But yeah, it would not surprise me if we were told in no uncertain terms, stick to your own planet.
Yeah.
And we haven't been back for what? 50 years?
Yeah.
67, 68?
Since
69.
Since before I was born.
Mm-hmm. Right before I was born.
Yeah.
Dwayne Melton says, seems like I saw an old documentary by Jacques Cousteau about giant lava tubes so big a submarine could fit through going way under California. Might explain the naval base in the desert. Oh, man. We are in tinfoil hat territory tonight, folks. That is awesome.
It's getting hot in here now, Doug.
It did a little bit. That is awesome. Richie Evans says, we have Star Wars from the 70s and 80s. All of these movies, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you release those over time, people start getting used to the idea that they're out there.
Art imitates life, brother.
Exactly. John Doe says, something you have to remember about the Space Force is that it's literally just a glorified version of existing space programs for now, mostly due to budgetary issues. Ace Banner 007 says, I heard other videos about the moon mention the same. Yeah. I've read that article and watched a couple of videos, and we were simply told not to come back. John Doe says, and almost all of what they're doing is just controlling satellites from the Earth. Ace Banners, hope you all are having a great evening. We are, sir. Thank you. I hope you are as well. John Doe says, because fleshy human being isn't that good at surviving space. Good point. You better have armored spacesuits if you're planning on fighting out of Atmo.
And do you remember Doug about I can't remember, it's a couple of years ago, there was a guy doing a close-up like film footage picture taking thing of the session of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, what the hell is that? And he zoomed in and you could see like a fleet of craft moving across the screen in front of the moon. And
going back to that Apollo mission, when they first orbited the moon, I think they saw something, and I think it was a base. I think when he said, Santa Claus is real, I think he was giving them a code word saying, yeah, we just verified it's there.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I could totally be wrong, but there's been several astronauts come forward with their own encounter sightings.
That could have been their code,
right?
To say, all right, boys and girls, this isn't just a fairy tale. This is
right.
This is like legit Buck Rogers,
Yeah. Why else would he say that?
Right.
Martin Mantel
so
says
out of
they're
context.
desensitizing us. Absolutely.
Yep. 100%. Oh, the Star Wars Strategic Defense Initiative? Yeah.
The SDI. Star Wars being mentioned as the Strategic Defense Initiative, which was a Cold War program for a system of missile defense weapons. That's what bankrupted the Soviets trying to catch us.
Yeah. And maybe
this involved a bunch of different potential options.
And maybe let's go out on a limb here. Let's go on a tinfoil hat limb here, DA.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just maybe it wasn't about mutually assured destruction.
Maybe it was the beginnings of a Space Force defense system.
Maybe it was against this defense.
Those missiles might have been pointed out, not in.
Exactly.
And the Russians were trying to keep up to defend themselves.
Yep.
Not from us, but from whatever, if we're prepared to defend the United States, that doesn't mean we're going to launch missiles to save the Russians.
That's right. Or destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John Doe's got a lot of information, Mr. Doe.
Yes, he does.
Like he may know a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two, like that old
Yeah, I think
insurance
so.
commercial.
John Doe says ranging from kinetic energy impactors mounted on small satellites to high-powered lasers to good old-fashioned big nuclear missiles.
Yeah. And
It was
Mark
canceled for
said,
being both expensive and threatening to MAD. Yeah, mutual assured destruction. If I could speak English. But it's thought to have helped cause the USSR to collapse. Exactly.
Yep, exactly. Star Wars project can point out too. Exactly, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it may not be from defense within, like everybody was thinking, because that's what everybody wanted them to think. It could be from for defense from without, outside of our atmosphere.
Very much so.
Yeah, the railgun project. Yeah.
Hey, I think this would be a good time to give away a book code. I have newly released the codename Wild Hunt Odin's Call, first book in the series, narrated by Cameron Buckner. It's a great listen. I've already listened to it twice myself, just listening to Cam narrate it because I enjoy hearing him talk. I listen to the Dixie Cryptid channel all the time, so I think we're going to give away a code here in just a couple minutes. Give everybody a chance to chat, but everybody comment in chat. You have to comment in the YouTube chat, so for Nightbot to be able to pick you up. Sorry, folks. Got a little bit of a cough tonight.
Yeah, I
so
know.
We'll give that away in about
good.
5 minutes. Give people a chance.
I know it's good for that cough, Doug.
Yeah, but I'm trying to refrain, at least for right now.
I am not.
Well, I don't blame you.
It was a rough day, man. It was about a 12-hour day today at work. So
I appreciate you joining me, brother.
Oh man, I enjoy it. Absolutely.
Here we go. John O says, I would also suggest looking into Aurora, a supposed supersonic hypersonic recon aircraft, and Project Orion, a project in the 50s for a nuclear bomb-powered spacecraft. Ace Banner 007 says, I remember a show called Babylon 5 that was to get us ready for today. Maybe so. Babylon 5 was a pretty good show.
It was.
Railgun has unfortunately been canceled for expense reasons, which is too bad because that did a lot of kinetic damage. Mark Napier says, some of us knew UFOs were real for years. I'm right there with you, man. John Doe says, also, I did not mistype. I did mean nuclear bomb powered. Wow. I think John has a lot of information that maybe the rest of us don't know.
Yeah. He might be plugged in somewhere.
Yeah. I read about a proposition for traveling between solar systems by using controlled nuclear explosions at the back of the ship. So using a nuclear bomb as a power source is not exactly a new idea.
I mean, if they're talking about it for propulsion, that is not outside the realm of possibility. And he just said it. Yep.
It would ride the shockwave impulse of nuclear detonation.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah, they talked about that in Starship Troopers, that they used controlled nuclear explosions to propel the ships. They called it a Chernikov drive. But other sci-fi writers talked about the same thing.
I mean, but if you can harness that energy, I mean, that's a massive output of energy.
Oh yeah.
You know. This has actually been pretty freaking awesome, man. This has been a great episode, and talking about all this different stuff.
I've got a book series that I'm planning to release. I'm going to start the series sometime probably in the next year, and it's going to be called Project Orion. And I don't really want to get into a whole lot about that right now. We're still firming up details, but look for that coming. It's going to be a spinoff of the Wild Hunt series.
Man, I'm looking forward to the other stuff you sent me to kind of proofread. I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to
appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, I was like, when I got to the end of the word count, I was like, damn it.
It's going to take me a minute.
I know. I was like, I want more. I want more.
Well, Lakeview Man 3 is pushing 45,000 words. And so I'm probably about 30,000 away from finishing it. It's building to the climax of the book, and I think you guys are going to like it.
Any good medical
Martin
stuff
Hertel
in there?
says the theory they used in Dune with folding space has always fascinated me. Yeah, they talk about that a lot in science fiction and, as possible theories for propulsion. John Doe says it got canned after the Air Force got wind of it, built a scale model of several thousand-ton Orion battleship armed with directed nuclear weapons, Kasaba howitzers, and naval gun turrets and conventional
Very interesting.
conventional nukes. Armistice 97 says I can't see the screen for some reason. Sorry, man. John Doe says then they showed it to Kennedy. Huh. John Doe says who was so horrified he ordered it destroyed, then canceled the entire program. I'm not hitting Alt F4 and closing the screen. Nice try, though.
So in the new Wild Hunt book, you got any good medical stuff in there or what, man?
Well, there's going to be a lot of medical. There's going to be some
Good.
trauma done in the next Wild Hunt book. It's going to be
Good.
called Death in Dyatlov Pass, and it's going to get messy.
Ooh, nice. I like the title already.
Yeah, the scene I've already got in mind for the opening of the book is a Russian team running into something they can't handle, and then when it flashes, you've got Clark and all his people lined up on the tarmac on Fort Leonard Wood with mimic units standing by and a fleet of those big Russian Antonov aircraft coming in to get them.
Oh, hell, that's awesome. My screen is fuzzy, Lenita.
Yeah, your camera's kind of fuzzed in and out a little bit.
That probably didn't help any. Probably my internet connection. I'm out in the sticks with broadband.
It might be your internet connection. You're a little grainy.
Yeah, my broadband. High-speed internet out here in the woods. Ain't.
Mark Wooten says it got late here, so I can't wait to rewatch this from the beginning. John Doe says, to be fair, attempting to convince the public that they should be fine with intentionally detonating several megatons of atomic weapons over U.S. airspace would be difficult.
Yeah,
You're
that'd
not
be hard.
wrong.
Yeah, that'd be a hard sell right there, man. That's for sure. Oh my goodness.
Armistice 97 says, I'm just playing. It's Mike from back home. Finally glad to see your stream. Well, thanks for being here, man. John Doe says, Russia did create a riot shotgun known as the KS-23. Yeah, I'm going to be exploring some Russian weaponry for that it's episode of the Wild Hunt.
I'm going to Google that right now.
John Doe says, so named for being repurposed from a faulty 23 millimeter AA gun barrels. Wow.
Holy shit snacks. This thing is massive, dude.
Yeah, that'd make a heck of a shotgun, wouldn't it? They also have a...
there it is.
Holy crap. The Russians also have a 50 caliber submachine gun.
God almighty.
Yeah.
I guess they're getting into the old measuring contest there, weren't they?
I think so.
Mine's bigger.
Says, yeah, folks, it's friendly radiation.
Yeah. Yeah. My submachine gun's bigger than your submachine gun.
No kidding.
Suck it, Trebek.
What was like one of the things the Russians did was they purposefully designed their tanks to be just slightly larger than the caliber of our tanks, so they could use our ammunition if they captured it, but we couldn't use theirs.
Yep.
It was pretty brilliant.
Yep.
The Russians are nothing if not pragmatic.
Yeah, I like their Val sniper gun. It's a 9x39 subsonic. That thing is pretty nasty.
John does a 6.27 gauge, claim to take out a car engine at 100 meters. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that would do it.
Martin Hertel says, imagine the recoil.
Yeah. Don't want to go duck hunt with that son of a bitch, that's for sure.
It's like those old punt guns they used to hunt geese
exactly.
with.
That's what I was just thinking about, man. Like a 6 gauge or some crap like that.
2 gauge. They up here at Bass Pro in town, they've got one of them old punt guns, and I swear the barrel on that damn thing is this bigger.
Dude, and they're like 4 feet long, man. It's like a 48
it lays in a
inch.
boat, and you laid at the back of the boat and shot
Dude.
it.
It's literally like a AAA gun, dude. It's insane.
They would bring down a whole bunch of geese at the same time and propel the boat backwards in the water.
Yeah, exactly. Be like the A-team driving a freaking tank through the sky.
They're not trying to shoot down the drones. They're trying to fly the tank. Mark Napier says a 50 cal submachine gun would drive you into the ground like a tent peg. Probably.
Especially me.
John Doe says they also designed an underwater rifle. I knew about that one.
Yeah.
Martin Hertel says like a musket.
Yeah, the Russians, their skunk works, man. Their skunk works is pretty freaking on point, man. Not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's some pretty good stuff.
Ooh, well, folks, I'm starting to get a little tired, so I'm kind of winding down a little bit. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's go ahead and give away that code real quick. I am going to do that right now. And it looks like we have a winner. See if it posts it. There we go. Martin Hertel has won the giveaway. You have just won a free code download of the audiobook of my first Codename Wild Hunt book. If you will contact me, Martin, let me put the overlay up. Let me find it. There we go. If you contact me at daroberts@daroberts.net and with your email address, I will send that code to you tonight, and you'll be able to just plug the code in at on the website, follow the instructions in the email, and you'll be able to download that audiobook for free. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Martin.
Sorry, my throat's getting a little froggy. I've been fighting a head cold the last few days.
Take some black elderberry and some echinacea, brother. Good for what ails you.
That's the plan. I thought I'd take a big old glass of bullet bourbon and go to bed.
Take 2 of those and call me in the morning.
You know, some days you want 2 fingers of whiskey, and then other days you use the different fingers.
I like that. That's good. I like that.
Mark says a lot of stuff they talk about but never made. Dwayne Melton says, thanks, guys, for an awesome show. Thank you, sir. We appreciate all you guys being here. You know, I know we jumped off topic a few times, which is pretty much par for the course if you've ever watched the show. But we did talk about some pretty fascinating stuff. And again, folks, watch the news. In the next 3 to 5 years, they're going to be revealing a lot more. And just the stuff I've showed you tonight is just the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. You know, just a few Google searches or go to the MUFON website. You're going to find accounts, sightings, way more than we talked about. What I showed you tonight is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a lot more out there, and it goes way deeper down the rabbit hole than we went. 100%. We just barely touched the surface. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. I know I had a hell of a good time. Hope you guys will join us Saturday night when we're going to be talking about the paranormal. We're going to be talking about some of the famous hauntings around the United States, as well as cases of demonic possession and other big paranormal events from all over the U.S. and a few from around the world. So I hope you guys will jump in and join us there. There we go. Mark Napier says 2 bottles of bourbon and call 911.
Yeah.
And remember, if you guys want to get a hold of us at the show, if you want to mail us or send us your own encounter, be it cryptid or paranormal or even UFO, if you would like us to hear your account and read it on the air or join us on the air to give your account, you can email us at daroberts@daroberts.net, or you can mail me directly at P.O. Box 4614, Springfield, Missouri 65808-4614. And I'll leave that up on the screen for a second in case you guys want to jot that down. And just if you want to reach out to us, even just to say, hey, you know, we enjoyed the show. Thank you very much. And remember to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. Tell your friends about the shows we've had and the things we've talked about, and send them our way. If you know anybody that's interested in all things cryptid, paranormal, hell, we even had guys that were doing comic books the other night. You never know what subject we're going to tackle. So we try to bring you guys interesting things to talk about and talk about crazy things that are happening around the world. And who knows? You just might learn something you didn't know before. I know I constantly do. I'm always looking for new information, and I have a good time doing it. And I thoroughly enjoy hanging out with Carrie and Josh when he was on a minute ago, and when Naoma and my son Noah occasionally comes on, because it's just like having a conversation with friends, because we're talking about subjects that we all find interesting, and we get to hang out and have a good time. And to me, you just can't beat that. That's the real beauty of this.
It's just good fellowship.
Absolutely. Well, folks, again, I appreciate you. Appreciate you guys so much. And Martin, make sure you contact me again at daroberts@daroberts.net. It just popped up in the chat. You'll be able to copy that direct there. Email me and I'll get that code to you tonight. And we appreciate you guys being here. And again, like I said, we don't have fans, we have friends. This is a great conversation. It's like hanging out with old friends and just talking about stuff we all love and things we enjoy and the things that make you wonder what's going on in the world. And I appreciate you guys being here. And I hope you guys have an amazing night and a great week. And hopefully you will join us this weekend when we jump into the paranormal and start talking about some of the real events that have happened around the country.
Yeah, I can't wait. That'll be fun.
And Carrie, I hope you join us then, because I know you've got some creepy stories.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Just send me the link, brother. I'll be there. With bells on.
I certainly will. Hey, your camera cleared up, but it froze.
Yay.
Well, now that it's not moving, it's all blurry again. Again, folks, thank you guys for joining us. Appreciate it so much. You guys are awesome, and we absolutely love being able to hang out with everybody. And we can't wait to do it again on Saturday. And we're going to jump into that with both feet and talk about the paranormal. And I think you're going to hear some pretty creepy stuff, because some of the stuff that you've seen and heard about in movies might just have really happened. So we will see you guys on Saturday. And thank you guys again for joining us. You guys are the best. Absolutely enjoyed 100% hanging out with y'all. And I look forward to doing it again. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Hats off to y'all. Revealing my bald head. And hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for being with us.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?